experience at a Knockem comedy murder mystery show? Suspense, excitement, love, more love, violence. Well, not really. And of course, some music. Knockem Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery troupe, entertaining thousands of people for over 20 years.
You have a great night or what? Good.
Their hilarious murder mystery shows are full of audience interaction from beginning to end that will keep you laughing all night long. Their shows are not to be missed. Knockem Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
Had an awesome time.
All right. You had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right.
Fundraisers, private parties, corporate events, restaurants, and more. Contact Knockem Dead Comedy for your event today. What will you experience?
Okay. Okay, we'll just do that for now.
How do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony and Sallie on the Knockem Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie. Say there, people.
I can't do this anymore. This is Ruth Buzzy, and I'd like you to know how much I love the Knockem Dead radio show coming to you live on govsradio.com. Oh, you make me laugh. You really do. Oh, please.
Knockem dead. Knockem dead. Comedy show.
Hi, everybody. It is Thursday. It is July 21st. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show. Jeez, now I said it. Welcome to the
That's my fault. That's my fault.
Damn it!
That's wait. Since you already brought it up,
Good morning, everybody!
welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show, brought to you live from the world famous Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown.
Wow, somebody's ready to get going. Derek's here, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Podcast. Coming at you live on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. That's the name of the Facebook page. That's the name of the YouTube channel. We are interacting with you on the YouTube channel, I hope. If I can see, I think this thing is dying on me.
What?
I can't get my iPad to work. But that's where we're interacting with you on the YouTube channel. And there goes Tom. Hi, Tom. Tom's going to the bathroom. Okay. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Podcast on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. YouTube and Facebook, we're interacting with you guys on the YouTube channel. So if you'd like to say hi to us, you have any questions, any comments, any jokes, whatever you want to say, we'll read them. Or you just want to say hi, we'll read them on the YouTube channel if I can get my iPad to work, but I think it's crashed. But we are live from Gov's Comedy Club, Governor's Comedy Club here in Levittown, where this weekend you will see Mike Vecchione Friday and Saturday. In the Giggle Room on Saturday, Rich Francis. And a host of other comedians. At the Brokerage in Belmore this weekend, you got the Laugh Off tonight. You want to see some great new, fresh talent here on Long Island? Go to the Laugh Off tonight. Max Dolcelli is playing the Brokerage in Belmore this weekend, all weekend. And Andre Kim, who's been in this room with us, very funny comedian. He's playing McGuire's of Bohemia Friday and Saturday. Go to govs.com and check out the full schedule, what's going on, and make yourself some reservations. And while you're at it, go to knockemdeadcomedy.com. You can see us here at Governor's in the Giggle Room on October 28th.
Hey, Tom Kelly.
Can I come in?
Yeah,
You can
please
come in.
do.
Okay.
Oh, he's got stories. October 28th in the Giggle Room, you will see Knockem Dead Comedy.
What's
October
wrong?
28th. Nothing,
Okay,
just wait.
yeah, I'm just
Am I
getting
distracting
other
you? I
things.
feel like I'm
She is.
distracting you.
Probably.
Am I distracting you from the plug?
No.
Oh, well,
Okay,
well,
just...
all right. All right, well then, okay.
What do you need?
October 28th. I've said it 4
Got
times.
it. Well, I wasn't listening to you. I was
what
listening
date?
to Tom
Obviously.
Kelly. Tom Kelly was walking in.
What's the date again?
October 28th, Knockem Dead Comedy performing an 80s themed murder mystery party in the Giggle Room just in time for Halloween. Put on your 80s outfits, your Madonna outfits, your members only jackets, and come join us for a night of fun and laughter and murder, and a costume contest is going to be great. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com. Go to govs.com to order your to make your reservation.
Am I stretching out the commercial too long to ask about this?
No,
No,
it's
no,
not.
no.
It is awesome.
Ask
Well,
away.
so it's a murder mystery.
Audience interactive murder mystery.
Now, I feel like that's something for people only over 50, but I don't think it's that anymore. Like, it
Nope.
sounds like you're doing a cool one.
Oh, of course.
Like, so it's like somebody dies at Governor's.
Somebody's going to... Well,
Every night.
I was going to say, I think that happens on a regular basis. Yes. But you will see a comedic murder mystery. I think we should leave it there.
And
That's
thank you for not making that about me. I set myself up.
I would
Tom,
do that
that's
to
why
you.
you're not
Tom's
here
gonna
that
be
often.
there?
Yeah, well, all right,
I
we're
didn't know
gonna
Tom was on stage that night.
we're gonna have to get it. We'll get into that in a second. So that's October 28th, and then of course just one more announcement, and then we'll get going here. Don't forget to join Gov's Comedy Club podcast at Jones Beach this summer, August 12th. We're going to be on the boardwalk at the band shell hosting for Street Fighter, which is a Rolling Stones tribute band. So come say hi to us and hang out with us, and we'll have promotional items and maybe even some giveaways. Ooh. August 12th for a Rolling Stones tribute band. August 13th for a Beatles tribute. And then again, August 19th for a Grateful Dead tribute, which works out nicely because our one and only Tom Sanfilippo, who hosts our show in here called Flip Tracks Radio, he is the lead guy in Half Step, the Grateful Dead tribute band. So you'll get to see him perform with the band. So again, come say hi to us, and there'll be some giveaways and all sorts of cool stuff.
And I love the band. The Clamshell is an awesome place
Yeah.
to hang out. You can go
It's
watch a
fantastic.
sunset.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can go down a zip line a few feet away at Wild Play. That's a great spot to hang out.
It is a great spot. We love it down there, so we're excited
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
a lot of fun.
Good morning, John, who's watching. Good morning, Beansy. Okay, with that, here we go. So, Derek, Tom,
did
Tom,
you ever
Derek.
get steak? Hi, Tom.
Hi, hello, nice to meet you.
I did not get my steak.
Okay, just because I had
did
to,
not.
I had to jump out of the show on Tuesday at the end, so I wasn't sure if you actually got the steak.
I'm not really sure what happened there.
Okay.
But I will tell you that Beansy has promised things in the past and he doesn't come through.
I mean,
I'm
I'm not
gonna leave it
casting
at that.
aspersions. I was just asking if you got steak or not. I'm not
No.
getting involved.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All
not
right.
getting involved in the relationship between you and this guy.
Well, first let's introduce you guys, then we'll get to that.
Well, I introduced
How's
them
that?
to each other.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
but
I just met
no one
Tom.
knows who...
Who are you again? And do I
Yeah.
get a steak if I know you?
No, I have nothing to do with steaks.
Nobody's getting steak.
I want to meet this guy Beansy. He's
No,
promised
you no.
The
Well,
steakless
he'll tell you
Beansy.
he'll meet you, but you'll never see him. He's promised to come in here several times, and he has never showed up.
I've heard
Not
of a
once.
man named Beansy. Did he work in comedy?
No.
No?
No, he's a retired chef.
We think. We don't know. We
Who
don't believe in
currently lives
anything
in
anymore.
Florida.
It's
Nah.
lies.
Allegedly.
With a name
All
like
lies.
Beansy, do you want a steak from a man named Beansy? I want chili from a man named Beansy.
I'm with you, but retired chef, and steak is my absolute favorite, so I was excited. And he brought it up. So I was like, oh, okay, great. Come on in.
I
and
hate
bring
that.
it.
I hate that. I hate getting a tease for, I'm going to do something nice for you.
3 times in a row.
And what? I didn't ask you to offer me a steak. You don't have to offer me a steak.
Right.
But you just offered me a steak. Now I suddenly want a steak, and now you're nowhere to be found.
No
Bite me,
steak.
Beansy. Bite me.
Beansy sounds like a guy who went to chuck wagon in the Old West on like a cattle run.
Nice.
I do like, actually, and I don't want to hurt Beansy's feelings. Maybe Beansy,
The
with
second
inflation.
time, we weren't going to hurt Beansy's feeling, but the third time,
Oh, that's it.
yeah,
Third time's the charm.
keep going.
You know what it is? Don't offer things. Like there's this, you know what it is? There's this urge to offer people things when you can do things.
Yeah.
Then when they accept, you don't want to do it. You know, like I have a Jeep. I have an off-roading permit.
how's that going? That's like, you
it's
only
going
had it for
great.
like
Now
a
I
year
have an
now, right?
urge to invite you guys to the beach.
Nice.
But I don't actually want to spend 2 hours with anybody.
I get it.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I
not
get
just
it.
you, but like it's just one of those things. Like I want the joy of you accepting the offer, but I don't want to put the labor into actually doing it.
All right, so we'll just say we would love to go sometime.
Yeah, and that's
we'll
what it is.
leave
But
at
I
that.
think that's where Beansy is. He wants to look magnanimous. He wants to tell everybody I can make a steak, and then oh god, I have to buy the ingredients
I
now.
actually
That's a
have
lot
to
of
do
work.
it.
Yeah.
yeah, and then cook it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
damn
a
it.
lot.
Where is Beansy too?
He's down in Florida somewhere.
It's a long drive for a steak.
But we don't even believe that.
And keep it warm the whole time.
See, is that funny? Do you guys have listeners where you're now just trying to decode who they are and what they're about?
Yeah.
Once in a while, we get some names that we don't recognize. We have to try and guess who they are.
It's really cool when all of a sudden, like, we'll meet them on the street. Like we'll have people that will bump into them. They're like, and like, oh no, that's you. It's crazy.
You see, I love this show, by the way.
Oh, thank you, pal.
yeah,
and
it's-
likewise.
Why don't you introduce Tom Kelly?
yeah,
Well,
please.
all right. Comedian Tom Kelly and our neighbor Tom Kelly is here,
yeah.
and our old friend Derek, who is back. You were here, we think in the spring.
in April, yeah, I
but
popped
you
in
haven't
for a
seen
bit.
Sally since
I
before
haven't
COVID.
seen-
So
Yeah.
that is true.
our pal Derek, who
We've zigged and zagged.
and who's been a regular for a long time, not so much lately because
No.
he has a real job now.
I got
but
a,
we're always
I got
happy when you come
an
in.
official job.
Yeah, a daytime job.
Daytime during the day, during the weekday when the people who bring me to parties are in school, I'm in school too, and then when they're not,
right.
then that it works out for everybody.
Mr. Pop and Twist,
That's right.
balloon twister extraordinaire.
Wait, that's what you do?
That's what I do professionally.
Oh,
yes,
you
sir.
should see his work. It's
But it's
Jeez, I suddenly
really
feel
cool.
like I'm not qualified to be here. I can't.
Why
You
is that?
own a
Well,
Jeep, man.
I own a
that,
Jeep.
That gives you about 5 or 6 clicks in a lot of people's world.
But I'll tell you something. I can't twist balloons and I can't cook a steak. What the hell?
Oh, forget it.
I
Get
can't.
out.
I can't cook a steak either. My wife will tell you that.
Really?
Not a good one.
What's wrong with you guys?
I overcook it.
Really?
Well, because my wife is a medium rare, a medium well girl.
Okay.
You got to cook it on the top thing and just let it sit
Yeah,
You gotta
there.
sear it.
I overcook it, and so she's not happy.
So Beansy actually says, I had a family emergency, and then Rocket says,
Yeah.
WTF Beansy. See, all right, that's one. I've seen Rocket, the name, and I always forget. I think he told us who it is, but I always forget who it is.
Beansy bothered to tell one of our other listeners to tell them, I know I'm running late, but I'll be there in 10 minutes. And then, so she bothered. We made another announcement, and then he still didn't show up.
Actually, and can I say something to your listeners? Where's my straight to camera? Where's
You
the camera?
are right here.
Hi, listeners. Tom Kelly here. While you're in there on the YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, you lazy people. There's nothing more annoying than when I'm going to chat with watching you guys as a fan.
Yeah.
There's 20, 30 people there and only 2 thumbs ups, okay? Get off your butts, hit the thumb up button. It helps the algorithm. It bumps the damn show up. And while you're typing, you might as well subscribe to my channel, Tom Kelly Show, where I have a great podcast. But
You do.
But listen,
He
you don't
does.
have to make a steak, people. You just have to hit thumbs up.
It's you don't really have to move. You just got to
Yeah,
click.
Yeah, listen, Beansy. You don't have to go out and cook a porterhouse for the gang here.
Although that
All right,
would've
that's a
been
lot.
good.
That's a lot of work. You got to, and plus, never mind the flight to fly in to cook you. The
Well,
steak.
he was
He was
supposedly
here already.
here. He claims he has a sister that lives within walking distance of here. And that's how this all kind of...
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Beansy, put her address in the chat right now. I will FaceTime in.
He will drive over in his Jeep.
Yeah, there is
Take a
enough
walk.
technology here.
Nothing will stop him because he can go off road.
I wonder if you even know her because you literally live right here on Division Avenue.
I live.
Well, sorry.
Right,
Well,
yeah, surprise!
I can be careful.
Everyone
Yeah,
knows where
yeah.
Governor. Everyone knows where Gov's comedy club. It's world famous. So if you know where Gov's comedy club, not hard to find me. That's
So,
true.
but
know
you actually
you're-
might know his sister then, because he claims she's with walking distance, literally
It's
down the block. He
possible.
says.
How do Beansy? I'm also fascinated with how do people find these shows? Like, how did Beansy? You're here. You can type in. Is Beansy originally from New York? Did he know?
Brooklyn.
Yes.
Okay.
Brooklyn, but that doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't really answer the
From
question.
what we believe, anyway. I have trust issues now.
I don't know how he found us. We don't know him personally.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't prior, but
Yeah.
So it's amazing. I love the super fans. I started doing a YouTube. I record my show ahead of time.
yeah.
And I release it now. Technically, I started. It's evolved over the while. It started as the pandemic project. Blah blah blah. Then it became it became a self-help podcast. It actually started as a wedding podcast. Then it became a self-help podcast, and now it's just me trying to figure out what I'm doing with my career.
Is it once a week?
We're doing it twice a week, and the slogan is "One comedian fixing life." So I'm either fixing my own life or complaining about the damn world.
And you're coming up on like almost 200 episodes now, right? Aren't you
God,
like
I'm at
170
215.
something?
You know
Oh,
what it is? I
215.
started doing more. A friend of mine, Jeanette
Nice.
Barber, had a line. She was Rosie O'Donnell's head writer, a mentor of mine.
Nice.
And her line is, you got to do it more if you want to get good at it. And you think about it, even with stand-up
Sure.
and stuff,
Absolutely.
the first 1,000 times on stage don't count.
Yep.
And for me, that's what it felt like. So I started doing it 3 times a week. That was becoming a lot. And what's funny is I've noticed my per episode numbers dropped when I went down to 2 times a week.
Oh wow.
So I may go back to 3 times a week, but I'm trying to figure out what the perfect release schedule is.
Yeah, maybe after
There's
the
such a
summer.
science to this whole thing. It's crazy.
There is a
to me.
science to it. It's becoming a little bit of playing to the algorithm. A friend of mine. Oh, is that Beansy?
Yeah, I'm not going to take it.
Oh wow! But did we just lose the YouTube feed? Because folks, for those of you,
No.
for those of you listening, we're in a room. There are monitors all around. It's like
Everywhere.
being on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. And all I could say now is the main viewer, where I could look at myself on a time delay, just went.
It is,
out.
yeah. It's typically about a 30-second time delay.
Oh, is it that
up
long?
there? Yeah. Well, sometimes it's longer, but it's roughly like 20.
But all we know
23
for
seconds.
sure is right now, we have no idea what false promises Beansy is making right now.
Right.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so back to the podcast while you guys are checking the phones and making me look interesting.
No, we're all good. I just, you know what we do? We just like mirror. It's an Apple product, so we just like mirror.
No, but I
it
just
so we can
love
see what
how
we're doing.
one robocall could derail this whole operation. Like this is your car insurance.
But that's live, like and I think that's what people like love about just like the live show. You just never really know what's going to
You
happen.
never really
You don't know
know.
who's going to show up. I mean, that's what I find like
You don't
interesting about the
know
whole
if
thing.
somebody's going to bring in a hubcap.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
you just
and
never
that's
know.
I got a story about that for later, and it's about our neighborhood. That's why I wrote it in.
Okay.
I thought the key to the bathroom was on it. I didn't know.
Welcome
In
to
fact.
Governor's Comedy Club.
That's funny.
We had a problem with Seinfeld coming in.
I need the key.
Yeah,
There you go.
so Tom grew up in the same neighborhood that me and Tony live. So that's been
Yeah, that's a whole side thing.
because I didn't even know that. Like I met you, and then I was and then I've known your dad for
100 years.
8 years.
My father admires you. He's a little skeptical about Tony, if I'm being real.
He doesn't wave.
He
to
doesn't
me.
make eye contact.
He doesn't
with
wave to
Tony.
me.
Were you guys? And this may be too personal. Were you guys together and then not together and then together again?
No,
There was another husband.
I was going through a divorce.
Okay.
Well,
So
but if you don't
Yeah.
know the background, which of course I love picking on
Oh
Sallie
my
about this.
God.
Her ex-husband also has a prosthetic leg. Like
what are the mathematical odds of that, or do you have a fetish?
I do
Oh, it's a
not.
fetish.
But that's
Totally
the
a
whole
fetish.
thing. Like, how can you not stay away
She
from
has a
that?
dog
Like,
with
it's
one
a
eye.
fetish.
Wait.
Yeah.
It's
But
a
that-
fetish.
but that
I do
also
have a dog with
explains
one eye.
My father thinking you're the same guy.
Yeah.
Because my father.
'Cause I said something
my father
like-
is a saint. My father, just to be very clear,
Yeah,
folks,
that all makes
mayor of
sense
that whole
now.
neighborhood.
he's the mayor of the neighborhood. And before I go too far, if anybody here knows him, do not tell him I'm talking about him, because I'm going to hear about it in a way that's uncomfortable. Okay. My father is the kind of man, like when you have a cold, right?
Yeah.
My father doesn't want anybody to know he's sick. For our generation, if you have a cold, it's like, how am I going to write a good Facebook status explaining I am
Yeah.
sick? That's my father. My father might have had problems in his life. He will never tell us about them. You know, like he's a real damn man.
Yeah.
And I was going to, and he also, you know, sticks up for women going through hard times. And I guess there was a one-legged man
And then I
who
told
left you,
him,
and you're good
yeah.
with dogs, and he knows you because of the dogs and the streets and the whatever. But anyway, then he sees another one-legged man.
So he's
here.
like, oh, that ex-husband
Yeah.
is doing,
Son of a bitch is
being
back.
mean to her. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now.
I can't wait
He
to go
thinks you're
home and
my
tell my
ex.
father that the beautiful dog lady
Has
has
a
a fetish
fetish.
for one-legged
Yeah.
men.
It's like Bewitched. Okay, halfway through, they just changed
Yeah,
the tone.
you're the
Dick
new
Sargent.
Gary.
But they
I'm
had-
Dick
but-
Sargent.
But they,
Yeah,
but
there
they
you
had
go.
to have a guy with no leg. They had that was you know. Wait, speaking Tony,
Right, Dick Sargent, Dick York?
Right,
Dick
Dick
Sargent
York
was
first.
the, yeah.
Dick first.
Right,
But
yeah.
speaking of missing a leg, just for 1 second, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm concerned about you, Tony.
Oh.
Because of what's been going on with all the shark attacks on Long Island beaches.
I don't think
I think he's
had,
safer.
Have you
Yeah.
had PTSD from what happened to you?
From my shark attack?
Right.
Wait, is that what really got your
No,
leg?
Yeah.
No, but that
No.
would be great. Thank
I,
you,
w-
Sally.
I wish
No.
I wish it was. It's a much better.
Not
it's a
doing
cooler
that for the
story.
next 10
You should see
minutes.
the shark. No, I think they're all people who trying to look like me. I don't think they're sharks
like
at all.
my ex-husband.
Actually, is-
Everyone wants to look like you.
Is that hard for you? And if I'm going to be inappropriate, and you may kick me off the podcast for this, but I once knew a guy who also had one leg. It was
I must be related.
but that's racial profiling right there. Prosthetic profiling right there. And he lost his leg in a tragic accident, and then he would joke that he kind of wished he was a veteran or had a good shark story,
Yep.
and he had neither, and he just had to say, car accident, things happen.
Right.
Are you in that case? Do you feel like you need a better I lost my leg story?
Well, I'll tell you. It's funny you mentioned the military because I do. It's tough because
You were not in the military.
No.
Okay, yeah.
And it cancer.
Yeah, that's lame. I mean, not
It's
to be a
lame.
dick, but yeah.
it is totally. It's not being a dick at all. That's
I mean,
true.
it's heroic, but it's like not.
But then then you got to deal with they make they like.
They
I'm
salute
looking at a
him.
dead man type face. Oh, it was cancer.
Well, like even not, and I don't want to go down. I don't want to beat up your heroism for being so tough. I mean, it is a good story. It's better than anything I got. It's better than car accident, even I'd say. But hang on. But now I got to go home to my father and say, yeah. It turns out Sallie has a fetish for one-legged men, and then my dad goes, well, how did he lose his leg? Cancer. I mean, now, if I say shark attack,
Yeah.
at the beach club.
it's topical, it's relevant.
But
Yeah.
Memorial Day, Labor Day, like
Oh,
he'll be,
yeah,
he'll
that's
be
where I was
walking
going.
indoors and people are saluting him, holding
Yeah, and
the
they're
door.
holding the doors open. And what do you do?
And he's
It's
like,
well,
and-
I'm not a veteran.
No,
You just
and
say, oh, thank you, and you
how
walk in.
often? And it's funny. My pop is a big man on not stealing valor. Like he had been a reservist in the Marines, so he
Oh,
could
nice. So
you know,
he's a
again
hero.
more service than maybe me at least.
And then he was a fireman, right?
He's a firefighter, but he doesn't like stealing other people's valor who are on the jobs and whatnot. Do you feel that you have to? Do you spend so much time returning other people's valor it gets depressing? You know, like you have to, like how many times a day do you have to say, "I was not in the army"? I'm
It
not a
only
Vietnam
happens
vet."
on like Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Okay, that's not
Yeah, for the most part.
Maybe once on 4th of July.
But if I'm out somewhere like any public event and you get the Knights of Columbus guys with the hats and whatnot and giving out those flags for $1, you know, they see me and they make sure they get to me because they want to say they're assuming I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
So they make a point to get to me. And I'm already preparing myself. No, I wasn't a veteran, but
Yeah.
thank you for everything
Yeah,
you've done.
that's sweet.
But what's so funny?
I just think it's funny. Like now that we know why Tom doesn't make eye contact.
I know that.
I wonder. No, I mean, that's me.
Because
also,
like I love your dad. Like your dad is like someone who. There was a while where I didn't even think that he was real because he just pops out of nowhere every time you need him. It's the weirdest thing. Like he like falls from a tree like the second you need him. Like everyone here knows that because I talked about it for a long time. Like my sister was sick for a long time. She lived with me and she just passed away in May. And so I'm driving home from the hospital. Like she just died. I don't even know how I'm gonna like walk in the house and tell the kids or tell anyone. Who's right in front of my house?
yeah, it's my father, Big
And
Tom Kelly.
seriously, like, and I'm not someone who freaks out. And I wasn't. Like, I handle stress, like, really, really, really well. But I was thinking to myself, I do. Like, I am someone who, like, in an emergency.
Now, why was he in front of your house? Did he know your sister was dying?
No, he just was driving by in, his a
magic.
million-year-old car and, like, just happened to be, like, stopping, like, right there.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, how are you? And I go, and someone like your dad, like anyone else, you're like, hey, I'm great, how are you? And your dad... like, there's no bullshit. And I don't even know him that well, but I know him well enough to know there's no bullshit. And I go, pretty shitty. And I told him. And he, like, walked me off the edge. And I was like, okay, thanks a lot. And he just got right down to, the questions that I needed. Do you know how to do the cremation thing? Do you know who to call? How are you going to do this?
Oh, my father also loves a good funeral.
The second, so does Tony. You guys could go together.
Well,
he'll go to like his mailman sister's aunt's funeral.
And it's funny. I think Joey Cola actually once said about me that I'll never truly make it as a comedian because I was raised by normal people, and moderately normal people. But my pop is a great way to sum up my dad is if you have a funeral that may be sparsely attended, my father will show up.
Yeah.
If you're having a birthday
We'll do the
party,
same thing, yeah.
if you're having a huge birthday party with free food, drinks, and lotto tickets at the end,
He'll pass.
he will skip.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that when you had that conversation, when your sister died, you pulled up in front of the house.
Yep.
Who was also in front of the house waiting for you?
You, but me and Tom are
But you
ignoring
live there.
Well,
Rent
no.
free.
Yeah,
no,
but-
the reason I'm bringing this
But
up.
me and your dad were ignoring him because
Oh my God,
he was the
So
ex-husband.
she pulls up, so I walk out to greet her. Here comes your dad.
And then
We
I'm like,
both
wait,
go
I'm
to his
talking
car,
Tom.
leaning against the window. He's not looking at me. He's talking over me to talk to Sally, and they're in like mid-conversation. I just kind of did one of these.
I was like, can you go away? I'm talking to Tom.
That's my pop.
He never even looked at me.
Yeah. He probably doesn't trust you because he thinks you're the
He
first
thinks you're
husband
the
who's about to
ex.
leave her again.
Yeah.
And the last
Yeah.
thing we need is to find out that Sally is kinky and into this. That's going to really ruin his...
It actually just happened because I was like, I'd been with my ex since I was a teenager. So even when we were separated and stuff, we were
And he was
still...
50.
We were still
and how old are you?
we were still friends. And how often do you find someone who is an amputee when they're young? You usually find like someone who's in a wheelchair with diabetes. So there's no one to like really talk about. So when I came across Tony on Facebook, and I was like, oh wow, you should be friends with my ex.
No, there's something to be said about having a specialty or a type.
Yeah.
And also but you also are sympathetic. You know enough about it.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
With all these shark attacks, though, she's been really excited around the house.
We got
It's been really
how many?
strange.
Here's the funny one with shark attack jokes. How many times can we make the? I feel like you're gonna get exhausted by it, and you should spread it
I'm
out.
exhausted already.
I feel like you're gonna have to spread it out for your own mental well-being.
I feel like I'm getting comedian advice.
Yeah,
from
they don't
Ken
take
Kelly.
much
No,
from
but
people. I like that.
but to your point about types, I dated a 6'5" professional basketball player, a woman.
Okay.
I know because I checked, and original parts, and then. God bless, she broke my heart or it didn't work out. And I'm like, I need to date another girl like this to spite her. And,
I didn't
and
think
then
about
I
that.
found out like it was
You were the
good, though. I could
transition
BS
guy.
about it though. Like I could BS about how hard it is to do this, how hard it is to do that. And you're right. I've gone out with a couple of people who have you almost wonder, is it a comedian fetish? They know what they're getting into.
Right.
They like the entertainer. They like going out. And it's so I think there's something to be said
Maybe.
that you should have just picked a better type.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
everybody
or
says
you're
that.
a really good person. I'm going to go with you should have picked a better type.
Or maybe the story is actually Tony cut off his own leg to marry Sally.
That's true.
And uses the cancer to cover up the story.
I'm totally
So
worth
can
it.
I do my one-legged? This is going to make me angry. But
Yeah, go.
So the guy's name was Fred. He was married to a girl named Nicole, who at one point was friends with my buddy's wife. And Nicole was beautiful and smart and perfect, and even more perfect because she was dating a guy with one damn leg, and I hated him. I was willing. Listen, I would have cut off the other one. I did not like this guy, and I didn't like him purely because he was a nice, funny guy dating a girl who, in my mind, was perfect. And I just kept finding everything wrong with the guy to say it to my buddy's wife because I figured my buddy's wife could ruin the relationship while they're still dating.
Wow, this is like really deep.
Well, you know what it is? You ever go to a party? This is hard when you're like terminally single. Is you go to a party and there's no single people.
Yeah.
You're hanging out with your friends, and the one person there is there. Sometimes she's there with her boyfriend. Sometimes she's not. And you're like, oh, high school crush, whatever.
Right.
Anyway, the big ending is we're at a Halloween party, and I guess he had a party move where he would walk in. And there would be people who didn't know he had a prosthetic leg.
Right.
And he had a way of pushing it off and pratfalling
that's
to make it look like he just
fantastic.
broke his leg in a really scary way.
I wish I could do that.
yeah,
I
he
wish
can't
I
do
could.
that
And
because
he
he's
did
above
it.
leg.
Hilarious to the 4 people in the joke. I was in on the joke, and I'm in the corner like, that is so one-leg hacky. That's a hack one-leg joke. And he's a prop comic. This is not, and he is setting back one-legged people, and God bless, they're married, 4 kids, and living in Syracuse. But that's that's my one-legged friend.
They can't be
story.
happy in Syracuse.
Yeah, I was gonna say
so,
that's karma.
So you
though,
won in the
yeah,
long
'cause
run. You don't have to live in
Syracuse
Syracuse.
So yeah,
I think so.
they're
And
miserable
again,
in Syracuse.
and the problem is I actually hated the guy because he was that great a guy and dating that great a person. I mean, now I was about to say something mean. I was about to say, God, if only they got the other 4 limbs. I had a shot. And even too, with only 1 leg, he was a better man than me.
But you're more complete.
No, neither. Both. Not with my limbs, yes. Emotionally, no.
Right.
Actually, talking about the neighborhood. Can I talk about this hub?
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
I'm
Go
actually
right
really
ahead.
curious about this.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching this on video, and I guess I'll see this picture later in 30 seconds. But
Yeah.
I brought a hubcap into the room. I'm going to give away. Would you mind holding this?
I don't mind at all.
Great, because it's
I don't
dirty.
mind
I don't
being
want to
your
get my
Carol
hands
Merrill.
dirty.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Yeah, that's honestly. There we go. So I am now. This is something my father would do. My
Right.
father, again, is Superman. And there are times where you want to be a lot like your father. And then there are times where you want to be like your parents, but maybe with a little more social skills. We're going down, let's just call it Main Road so we don't give away our addresses,
Got it.
onto Merrick. You're going to make the left off of Main Road onto Merrick.
Yep.
And there's a car. It's a little white, I think it's a Toyota typey thingy. Okay. Can any of you do the forensics on this hubcap? Any
Yeah.
of you car people?
can?
Yeah, okay. But it's a sedan. And all you need to know is that it makes the left turn onto Merrick Road really fast. And this hubcap flies off
Okay.
onto someone's lawn.
Yeah.
I now chased a person because I'm like, this is $50 to $100.
That's
Yeah,
nice of
true.
you.
Right?
So
I
far,
chased a person
So far, I'm thinking this is
to
really
the
cool.
Starbucks parking lot.
Okay.
Which is now unionized.
Yeah, go Union. Are you into that or no?
Yeah.
Big time.
Good.
That's
I am
why he's
too.
wearing
Good.
red right now.
Oh my God, Red Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're familiar with Red
Yes,
Thursday?
You
talk-
kinda
let-
are now, too.
Let me finish my
All right,
story.
sorry.
Yeah. So finishing my story, we pull into a Union Massapequa Starbucks parking lot, and it's a friggin' 18-year-old girl, 17-year-old girl, and suddenly you now feel like the creepy guy chasing a 17-year-old girl. But you're like, listen, hey, roll down the windows. Your hubcap just fell off, and then the girl goes, "What's a hubcap?"
Oh, wow.
Wow. She pulls over. It turns out we're both getting coffees. I look and feel creepier, and I pull in to the lot, and I explain what it is, and I tell her exactly where the hubcap fell off, and she's grateful. She's a nice kid. She's like,
Yeah.
"Well, would you know how to put that back on?" And I'm like, "I'm not following you back to that. This is already
gonna-
way."
I'm not a
honestly,
mechanic.
I am. Listen, guys who look like me shouldn't be chasing girls who look like you in cars. If anything, you should be calling the cops right now. And I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Anyway, and then I eventually drive back to my parents' house a little bit later. Does it come up quick? It's not coming up quick. So anyway, I drive past and I see the hubcap like 8 hours later is still on the lawn. I'm
Okay.
like, God damn it. I am going to find the owner of this hubcap. And because the girl said it was her grandma's car.
Oh.
Okay.
So you got the grandma fetish, so you're looking for grandma.
We could go hot and cold, and I either go really old or really young. But I feel like all women,
Heirloom hubcap.
to your point, all women born between 1976 and 1988 have had their shot. But that is not the point of this story. I just at this point want the satisfaction of I put 20 minutes into a good deed. I
Right.
want the good deed
You want the
completed.
completion.
I don't even know if I'm a great person. I want the completion.
Yeah, you want to cross it off your list.
I want to cross
now
it
it's
off
just
my
hanging
list
out
of
there.
stupid things I can fix
Right.
that are driving me crazy.
Right.
Now, Grandma also had a vanity plate. And I believe it was LB Foxy or something.
No way, really?
And I'm hoping one of you would know the car. So anyway,
He's gonna make us find her.
but this is where it gets weirder. I put in the Biltmore. I put in the local beach club. God, just
There you go. They all know where we live.
and here
It's all
come the
right.
stalkers.
That's fine.
Yeah. Please, for the love of God, don't show up. I will go bat poop crazy. I had it happen once. Please
Really?
don't. Yeah. Stalkers aren't as fun as they sound on TV. They never look like they do in the Lifetime movies. And big ending is I put in the local beach club group. Hi, this is going to sound weird, but does anybody know a white car with a vanity plate, LB, Foxy, whatever? I have your hubcap.
Yeah, nice.
And just left it at that. And one person gave me a name of someone who lives directly behind my father.
Oh.
And now I've been driving around trying to see if I can find the LB Foxy car.
Yeah.
And it's not there. And but anyway, I'm just imagining myself now on all the Ring doorbells and people wondering if I'm a prowler.
Does your dad know about this? Because he runs all over the
knows.
place.
He knows. Here's the
that's
problem.
actually how we met each other. is
Yeah, I
running.
know. And here's the thing. Like my father, the short story is you moved into the neighborhood, you're the new person, and my
Yeah.
father was the welcoming committee. There are people who either love it like you and it worked out for your business. My dad sends you dogs all the time.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where you probably want him to stop.
Nope. He's
oh, you're so
great. I've
sweet.
got nothing to complain about your
Okay.
dad. There's
But there are
nothing.
some people who don't like new friends. You
Yeah.
know, they don't want the new friend, and he's aware of it. But I don't want to like basically ring the doorbell of somebody. But I don't want to start ringing
But I bet
doorbell
your
saying,
dad
"Have you seen
would
this
run
hubcap?"
by it. I'll run by it. I run too. So
Yeah.
he's just he gets every single road when he runs.
Here's
and
the
I do
difference
short
between
run.
me and my father is I love chasing down a stranger. I love performing for strangers. Like I love doing stand-up comedy in
Right.
front of a room
That's what I
full
was
of
about to
strangers.
say, right.
When there's people you know in the room, it changes the
different.
game because you have to live with your weirdness.
Yes.
And I don't want to just start ringing doorbells in my own neighborhood.
Derek, you can put that down if you
no,
want.
no, no. That's what I
I'm
was
doing
gonna.
my job, but also I'm noticing two things. One, it's in pretty rough shape.
It's
got
cracked.
massive cracks.
Yeah,
And then-
but you could
That's why it fell off.
you could put like some type of glue on that and
Okay, so actually,
like Tom
is
was
this
saying,
now a
it's pretty
giveaway?
expensive.
And then as a commentary on like cars not being made the way they used to be made, fake lug nuts.
Oh,
Look at that.
Oh wow!
But you're right. My Volvo, though, in all fairness, my Volvo from 1987 had fake lug nuts.
Oh,
too.
really?
Or I don't know if it had fake
Yeah,
lug nuts,
you're right.
but it
You're
was
right,
a
right.
clip-on.
My grandfather who worked in the Sears Automotive Department for 25 years, was turning over in his grave right now.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was
No,
a thing
I
about
had the
that.
same old station wagon, and it was fake hubcaps too. From like it was like in 1985 or something.
I'm still thinking about the license plate because isn't that like some kind of abbreviation for pound?
so-
like pound Foxy. I mean,
Or
there's a joke there
or
somewhere.
it's Long Beach Foxy, which is this whole different thing.
Yeah, true.
No, and
true.
along the lines is I might be screwing up the license. I also realized after this story, I would be an awful witness for a crime.
Yeah.
Like I make, and there was
It's
a
actually
blonde girl.
it's like a 17-year-old dude.
She said lagoon. But by the way, if you think this is broken, should we just give it away to one of your viewers?
No, I feel like it's
we'll
so
sign it.
good.
You're going
Wait,
to give it away,
camera.
and then the message is going to come through. Oh, you found my hubcap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'll say this, folks. You have a better chance of getting a free hubcap from Tom Kelly on the Knockem Dead Comedy Podcast than you do getting a free steak from Beansy when he's in town.
Absolutely. You got that right.
You find so this is a crazy one that I'm dealing with on the Tom Kelly Show podcast and YouTube channel. Did you hear me sneaking a plug? Yes, I did.
That's fine.
Plug
but
away.
But do you find a comedian, Aaron Berg, had a great line about podcasting the other day. His line was, Tom, sometimes you're just playing to the same 80 people. Mm-hmm. Do you find now that you start pandering to Beansy like I am right now? Beansy, follow me. I need you.
Yeah.
Beansy,
Yes.
I'd love it. I'll trade you this hubcap for a steak.
We try to make it interesting for
You'll have that
everyone, but
hubcap
then we
forever.
also, we know who are watching all the time. And so we pay attention to them
and that's
too,
the
'cause
beauty
they're
of
great.
bringing our guests in along with having fun. But we also like to think we're exposing each other to
Yeah, it's a different thing. Like,
each other's
funny.
audiences.
Now I'm just thinking maybe from now on, every time I'm on the podcast, I will wear the hubcap around my
Hubcap man.
like Flava Flav.
You look like Captain America.
I was gonna say cheap Iron Man, but I'll take Captain America.
the Iron Man's stepbrother. Yeah.
And now my shirt's dirty too.
Oh boy.
When you mentioned the stalker thing, I have a friend who has a YouTube channel, and it's a very popular YouTube channel. It's a niche. It's a Power Rangers YouTube channel.
Hold on.
Yeah,
There's an audience for it.
there is.
But I imagine. Pause. Let's all take bets right now. Do you know this story?
No.
Okay, and I don't mean to interrupt,
No,
but
it's okay.
but I feel like this is. Let's play a game. Do the over under.
All right.
Is this story going to be better than you imagine right now, or worse? I'm going to go with worse. That this is
Okay.
going to be. I'm
All right.
imagining one level of drama, and I'm imagining somebody showing up in costume. Finish your story.
Okay.
Red Power Ranger.
So,
He's the best.
My friend used to live in California, and his YouTube channel goes worldwide. He was alerted from the person who had his post office box that people had come to his post office box asking for this person's address.
Wow.
And so they literally stalked his post office box.
Wow.
And then asked the people for the address attached to the post office box, which it's illegal. You can't do that.
Right.
And so he proceeded, and then they said no. So they alerted my friend, and my friend, okay, no problem. So they ended up moving their post office box and changed,
Well, that's a whole other set of problems for the poor guy. But
right.
okay.
And then a few months later, he was doing a meet and greet in New York City. Because again, he at the time, and still at the time, he's a name in the collecting industry. People like his stuff. So he went to a store, and who shows up but the person and this person's father?
Wow.
And literally followed them from downtown, walking from downtown all the way up to Times Square. They walked, and they followed them right behind the entire walk to Times Square.
I'll tell you what I've been doing with my super fans or super stalkers, whatever word you want to use. When it's a fan where it gets uncomfortable, what I do is I just sour the milk. I give them so much attention, they think I'm the stalker. I reverse stalk.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't really stalking. Mine was more of I had a serial harasser, and I won't tell you this story of the harassing, but it was someone who was harassing people in the media. I didn't know this at the time. I thought she was just stalking me.
Picking on you.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of weird tangents that just won't make for good radio, which maybe I'll tell you off air. But she was a serial harasser, and at one point threatening to say this about me, threatening to say that about me, threatening whatever. So the big ending, though, is I'm having dinner with 5 friends with whom I started in television. I'm having dinner with 5 friends I was NBC Pages with. And I'm like, oh, God, and my career's going so great right now, I even have a stalker. And there's a friend of mine, Robin Olkers, who's a big TV producer at NBC. He's like, Tom, you don't have a stalker. And I'm like, I really do, and I'm having trouble with it. And then he goes, really? What's her name? And I said the name. I said Voldemort. And then suddenly somebody else at the table said, holy crap, she harassed me too. Wow. And if it weren't for that random connection, me having dinner with people I've only seen once in 20 years, I would have never had context on what was happening in my life. But I'll say this about stalkers is when you're a kid in comedy, you joke about wanting a stalker. You know, they're always so good looking in the movies, right? And and when you actually have it start happening, you're like, this is just icky.
Yeah, because you don't want to add it to your day. You got a million other things to do.
Yeah, like
now
I mean, like I don't have I'm trying to find a good you don't have supermodel Denise Richards. You know, it's never her not knowing when to quit with the average looking comedian. Right. You know, it's just so I don't know, but I do love super fans. Like actually finishing the story I was going to say before is like I have a cult of fans who some come into my live chat, some message me on social media, Tom Kelly Show, but I have one super friend fan named Marianne, and Marianne, God bless, breaks down walls. She is a useful stalker, and I hate the word stalker, but she's useful with her time where she'll start calling governors over and over again and saying,
Oh, wow.
when is Tom Kelly performing? And then she'll actually show up with 20 people.
She's
Oh,
like
nice.
a helicopter mom. or
Yeah,
something.
well, she's a helicopter fan. Actually,
Yeah.
I like that phrase.
Yeah.
And she did the same thing. She got me in at Uncle Vinny's. She broke down the wall with Vinny Brand at the place in Jersey, Stress Factory. Now the problem is giving her a new useful target. But if I had 1,000 Mary Anns, I'd be famous.
Yeah,
When you
sure.
have one, it's just you feel like when you only have one super fan, like when you only have one Beansy or whatever, you start. There's two mentalities for comedians. Mentality one is, why does that one person like me so much? Or I think there's the comedian thought is, why don't I have 900 more people who like me that much? And that's the sign I am a narcissist right there.
You're like, even as I'm saying this right now.
Yeah.
I often feel like I have to reciprocate. Like, what does Marianne do? How do I support her?
That's a good
thing.
thought, actually. You know what's funny is
Marianne is now his new manager, by the way.
well, and that's the thing is,
Like, she could
honestly,
be.
if I
Like,
could
that's
get her to, yeah, if I had a manager, and I've had a couple over the years who worked that hard for me, I'd be in a different spot. But yeah, that's a great thought, though, Tony. I like that. If I'm getting something useful out of talking to you, it's maybe I should just go do something nice for Marianne for a change. You know, send her a flowers or a box of cookies.
Sure.
Or a hubcap.
Well, and I feel you though, because we've actually had two instances here from this show where they try to they think they know you, you know, and they try to be friends, and I have an autistic daughter, so twice I've had people reach out to her.
Like, try to,
And there's
like,
the line.
Facebook
And that's exactly
Yeah.
it. That
try
is
to
the
be
line.
friends of Facebook. Or
And
So
I'm-
like
like, I don't
every
need
now and then.
anybody reaching out to my pop. I
Right.
really
Right.
don't.
Right.
There's one guy in the neighborhood who said he loves my TikTok Tom Kelly show, and I don't know how the hell he found me. It was quick. But he said hi in front of my parents' house, and that's the line of comfort. And maybe that's also why I won't hit whatever the next level of fame is, because I do enjoy the private bubble of our
Right.
very wealthy
And that's
Long Island
kind of what
neighborhood.
I'm thinking, and the same goes with Eric too. You guys, you have your little, you're bordering a big fish in a small pond type, like you know, because you're out there as a warm up guy. Good Morning America, The View, so you've made a career out of it. So I mean, that's really the goal more than the fame. No.
So I think
Did that
the
make
life.
sense?
So
Yes.
and you just hit what, and you just hit the questions I've been asking myself on 230 episodes of the Tom Kelly Show podcast,
Okay.
which is, you know, my career. You know, what are we doing any of this for? You know, any of this. Why
Right.
are you taking care of dogs? Why are you podcasting? Why are you doing whatever the hell it is you do?
Balloon twister.
I ask myself that
Extraordinaire.
question all the time.
Oh.
He's going to make something, I guess.
Oh,
He brought
well,
his stuff.
I always bring my stuff, though. You know that.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Well, actually, I always bring my stuff because of Sallie. Because Sallie always says, "Oh, well, there's a musician who comes into the station and never has their instrument, or
Yes.
so and so who does this never has what they say they're going to have." So I never want to hear that disapproval and have that look
No,
from
but you-
Sallie. So I always come.
You have
with my
nothing to
balloons.
worry about. You made the Mark White balloon. You have nothing to worry about. Mark White, you remember the band The Spin Doctors?
Yes.
Mark White, the bass player, or now
Formerly
the
the
former
bass
bass player, who you share a birthday with.
I do indeed.
He's a good friend of the show, and he's a friend of ours. Derek
He gave me COVID once.
and Mark gave her COVID
There's that.
because they were banging. Yeah, Mark.
Wait. He has one leg too?
Well, he's
No.
black, so.
That's three.
So Derek made a Mark White balloon that Sallie took full advantage of.
Oh, I did have sex with that balloon in the back of your car once. Yeah, we did.
Let the record
I
show.
just love that we
to
just
Derek.
went from existential.
Let the
like,
record show. I didn't know that it was going to happen. If I would never would have done that if I knew that was going to happen.
is the sponsor of this show Ritalin? Because we went from Tom profound question to sex with a balloon in under 90 seconds.
What did we do with it? Why did we do that? Because we had you gave us this full Mark White balloon playing
Right.
a guitar, and what did we do? We took it like on trips, and we brought it places.
Yeah,
and
'cause
took
we made,
pictures
like,
with
a
it.
video for the
Yeah.
show where we took
and
it
then
all
so
over.
so we took this balloon everywhere,
And
and
we
then he's
took it
like
way too further.
get in the back of the car. And
But
pretend I
should
sex with
you
this
start
balloon.
making a balloon? I feel like now it's a tease that
Yeah,
we've
start
mentioned
doing
it
it now,
here.
Derek.
I gotta pee
Make
anyway.
something.
I don't mind.
It's the Starbucks.
Good. You go. You make a balloon animal. Damn it. Make a balloon animal. I'm peeing, Dan.
Now you peed 45 minutes ago when you got here.
know.
Are you all right?
So I'm okay. God damn it.
Come back. You're not done. Now we're discussing your bladder
Now
habits.
he's going to pee on the floor.
So next
Yeah,
big,
Tom, you need flaxseed if you're peeing twice in like 1 hour,
Okay,
man.
so I have not eaten today. I had a doctor's appointment with my doctor, who I like to call Dr. Fox News. Very conservative, but also pro-science. And God bless, Dr. Fox News is a very popular doctor, and he has too many patients because he keeps canceling appointments on me.
Oh, wow.
He's canceled 2 8 o'clock blood testy catch-up physicals, and I don't want to go to a blood test and have a physical. I don't want to do the blood work on Tuesday, physical on Wednesday. I'm a busy man, damn it. There are a lot of live streaming podcasts that want me at 11 o'clock
Plus
in the morning.
two copays.
Yeah, and boom, I think it's 2 separate people you got to pay.
Yeah.
Big ending is I had an appointment bumped from 8 a.m. to 4:45, so I'm fasting. So to fill my belly up, drank even more water than usual. I do have a weak bladder anyway, but mother effer, I do have to pee, and I'm craving a balloon animal.
And maybe you'll see one of the guys there, and you can yell at him for a booking.
Well, not during the podcast. I'm going to pee fast and run.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But I should
No,
yell at
feel
him. Like, who's there? Who's here?
I don't know. Oh, I'm hearing doors
I hear
opening
doors
and closing,
slamming.
so somebody's
Well,
here.
they're-
Or there's a
Yeah.
business invasion.
Or it's just John Truson in that case. Just tell him to get out of the way.
All right, go peepees. Derek, what are you going to make?
Well,
Oh,
all right.
gosh.
Well, and speaking of podcasts, you're popular, huh? You're on another show tonight.
Well, it's not a podcast. It's an Instagram Live interview.
Okay. That's
But yeah, I met. I'm happy to have gotten back into the conventions because obviously everything was shut down. So,
Yeah, sure.
But, and I've spent a lot of my, as you know, and as everyone knows, my goal is, I always say I'm an entertainer first and a balloon artist second. My goal is to achieve something that's a little bit more than just what I do. I love what I do.
Yes.
But if you're not striving for the next level, not to go with what Tom was saying, if you're not striving for the next level, what are you doing?
True.
So I've been fortunate enough and enjoy, and so I just did Eternal Con 2 weeks ago.
A what con?
Eternal Con. Eternal Con is Long Island's Comic Con. They were at Hofstra
okay.
this year. They've been around for almost 10 years. Next year's their 10th anniversary. I've done, I think, 7 or 8 of their shows out of their full run.
Right.
And I love to do the conventions because I'm a geek. I'm a fan of stuff. I love that kind of So I get to go into a convention and I look at who the guest list is and I start to make balloons based on who the guest list is.
Right.
Because if I sit at home by myself and go, I want to make a balloon something, I am inundated with 1,000 ideas, and I get shut down and I don't make anything because I can't choose what
Right.
it's going to be.
Sure.
So if I go into a situation like that, I've got 7 people who are the guests at the show.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, so I'm going to make those 7 people because now the choice is out of my hands. Now I have a reason. I have something to direct my energy towards.
Right.
So I met, and what happens a lot of times is I run out of time. There's not enough time to get everybody at a convention. So I always, if I meet someone and they like what I'm doing, I'll say, hey, I'll get you next time. I promise I'll get you next time.
Okay.
So 4 or 5 months ago, I was at WinterCon, which is an event in Queens. They do it at the Resort Worlds Casino in Queens.
Okay.
And I'm making balloons for this guy and that guy, and I meet these 2 guys. They're voice actors from the show Transformers Cyberverse, which has been on for 5 years.
Okay.
And Xavier, one of those guys, I told him I'd make a balloon for him, and another friend, his friend Travis, also talented guy. I said I'd make a balloon for you. A Transformer balloon, a little more detailed than what I can put together in 20 minutes.
What are you doing, Optimus Prime?
Well, I did Hot Rod and I did Dead End. Hot Rod, which obviously, if you know the movie, people of our era know the movie.
1984, 86.
So
movie.
Hot Rod, the Transformers Cyberverse show comes out, and it's kind of based on the characters from the movie. So there's not a lot of like the Optimus. Well, he's in it, but it's like Hot Rod and Ultra Magnus and all those kind of guys.
Wait, Cyberverse, is this the Netflix one?
Yes.
The one where
It was on Cartoon Network, I think, for a while, and then it moved to Netflix. Yeah,
I'm thinking of the anime one, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
There's an
I'm-
anime one that's on Netflix proper.
It's possible. I get confused. There's a lot of Transformers shows now.
Here's an example. That's Butch
wow,
Patrick.
you were good at
Oh,
this.
he's very good at this.
Thank you.
Just swipe around.
But yeah, so
It's
Butch,
amazing.
so Butch Patrick, I did that balloon for Butch Patrick.
Right.
I talked to him. My dad was a big fan of the Munsters. I actually even had Butch. I traded that balloon. Butch did a shout out for my dad's birthday.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But and that's,
idea.
so I met Travis and I met Xavier at WinterCon, then I did the balloons for them.
Little closer, Tom.
I did the balloons for them at EternalCon.
Okay.
So, and Xavier was like, "Hey, we should go," because we were commenting about the fact that,
Cool.
look, for a late 40s balloon artist
Oh, this
from
is
Long
it.
Island.
Right, that's it. Right?
That's the hot rod balloon.
Good, I'll show them.
Yeah, but yeah, so for a mid 40s, actually the high 40s now, balloon artist from from Long Island. I have an okay social media presence, but I don't have. It's in the grand scheme of 18-year-old influencers. I got nothing. I don't have a TV show behind me. I don't I say my extent of my media experience is being appearing on Comic Book Men, having my work on WWE.com. Like I have things, but not that are those big marketable things.
Sure.
So Xavier said, "Hey, I'll tell you what. I've got a lot more followers than you. Come on, and we'll talk and we'll chat and we'll do some stuff." And so tonight we're gonna go Instagram Live 7:00 tonight, and I have no idea what he has in mind. I guess we'll find out when we get there.
Sure. So where does he? Are you zooming or are you going somewhere?
We're Instagram living on his Instagram.
Yeah, it's nice.
is Cool Voice Media.
Cool voice.
Yeah, he's a voice actor. He's a narrator. He's a really cool guy. He's got one of those nice low voices, so it works very well in a lot of situations. And he voiced Dead End, who was a character in the Cyberverse show. The coolest thing for me doing all these conventions and making the balloons that I can is that it feeds that 9 to 13-year-old in me that's still there, that grew up with these people and grew up with these so it's like I can't draw, I can't paint, I can't
But you can sing.
I can sing, and I tell people, like, I just had my 11th anniversary as Mr. Pop and Twist. End of June was my 11th anniversary as Mr. Pop and Twist. So I've been doing this now 11 years, but I've been a performer since I'm 13 years old. So it's
Right.
it's combining those loves and combining those things and making it all happen.
Yes.
Now, do you do
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Pop and Twist on stage?
I do sometimes. Well, not on stage proper. I have a storytelling performance show that I do.
Really?
So I'll bring that to libraries. I'll do private parties even with it. If they ask me to do it, I'll do it. I'm actually doing one in 2 weeks. But yeah, I do an improvisational storytelling show with balloons. Basically, the balloons are there in a big basket, and we start the story. I tell a story that's never been told before. The kids give me information and ideas for the story,
Like an ad-lib
which
type of
is
thing?
based in the improv tradition, the ad lib tradition, and the story gets told, and we usually get to the end where we actually have it actually has kind of a moral of the story at the end, which I never plan it. It just kind of happens that way.
Wow.
And then the balloons end up being anything we need, props, costume pieces, set, whatever we can use those balloons for. They walk on a river. Okay, grab some balloons. Give 2 kids the balloons. Okay, they shake the balloons. It's a really, I don't know where it's going to go. I really have no idea where it's going to go when I walk in. And I have a good time with it. And it's the thing that allows me to do more than just go and line up and here you go, kid, here's your balloon, and which I love to do. Line work is great, but again, like I said, I started in performance, so performance has to come into what I do.
And that's got to be a lot harder than you're making it sound, because you got to come up with the story while making something.
Yes,
That's
I'm insane, Tony.
I mean,
we knew that.
and it's funny because maybe it's just because we're here in a comedy club, but and we're on a live stream podcast here. Have you thought about combining those talents into something that could be sold as a TV show?
I'm working on it.
Yeah?
I'm working on it. I
Because
actually
you said you sing too. You sing?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
He's a very good singer.
I spent 20 years in musical theater.
So now,
So
you just talked about your improvisational skills.
Right.
You just talked about your balloon making skills.
Right.
And your storytelling skills. Do you
Right.
add the singing to this show?
I mean, if the story goes in a way where it needs to be there, it's like having a bag of tricks. And
Who
I
wants
don't.
him to sing now is really what
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just sing everything you say, like the sound of music.
Chances are, though I wear a silly grin.
like if I had a story about Sallie having a fetish for one-legged men,
Yes.
and then being sad that a man named Beansy didn't make her a steak, and the moral of the story was you don't have to make false promises,
Right.
to be loved by a podcaster.
That's a $1 million idea right there that you got. That's $1 million
Is
idea.
that something you could turn into a musical performance?
And a balloon.
And a
It's
balloon.
a story I'd want to see.
That's amazing. Possibly, that's the cool thing about what I call twist the story. The cool thing about twist the story is that I don't. It's really one of those things where, again, I don't know what I'm doing. I get in there, we do it. It's a thing. And I always tell people, because the good thing about working in libraries, I always tell kids when I go to the libraries, storytelling before the written word, that was how things were given, how things were, stories were told at firesides or in bars or whatever. So I said, the story is going to change. You're not going to remember every part of what we did, but but if you're on a car ride with your grandparents and you're going to the park or whatever, tell the story. Tell the story, because did you have fun? Because I had fun. Tell the story. Someone else is going to have fun. There's one story I told that I was to a room full of 9 kindergartners. I had 9 kids, and so I had to make sure I used every kid in the story. So I told this story that to this day I'm surprised it ever even came out of my head, and I remember it. I remember every word of it, and it was a fun, kind of not emotional, but it was a heartwarming kind of story.
Okay.
And I remember, now again, I remember, I've told stories, I can't remember a thing, other than maybe a couple of suggestions,
Right.
But that one story is in my heart. So I will tell that story when my kids have their own kids, maybe I'll tell them that story.
Sure.
Because that's how I got started doing it. I got started doing storytelling because of my kids.
Have you had kids from... so 11 years, so maybe from like 8 years ago, have you had a kid who's now 8 years older, almost probably an adult, have ever come up to you, I saw you 8 years ago, you told me this great story?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the storytelling aspect of the show of Pop and Twist is only about 5 years old, maybe 6 years old. I didn't start doing that because I had to get confident enough being in front of people first. That's Oh
yeah, it's a completely different animal than just performing a musical on stage.
Right, exactly. But I mean, the one thing that to this day I've always said that is one of the I would say a top 3 compliment I was given as a performer was when I started learning how to twist balloons. You're going to a class and you got a guy and he's showing, okay, this is how you do this, this is how you do this. Because twisting balloons is not, it's an art form, yes, but it's not like sculpting. It's not like it's more like building with Legos. It's putting part A, part B, like because you're assembling cells of air versus removing things and sculpting things. But this guy, so I'm twisting balloons, and the guy, and he was watching me. He goes, you know what you got? I said, what? He goes, you got the patter down. I said, what do you mean? He goes, there are artists who twist balloons, and they never want to be in front of a person at all. They are happy to sit in a chair, and they will make amazing things for you while sitting in the chair and twisting balloons.
Right.
He says, but what you can do is you can entertain an audience while you're twisting balloons, because you're talking, you're twisting at the same time. You can't teach that.
Right.
Yeah,
I
true.
said, I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. That comes from, again, being in front of audiences for 13 years. Or, oh, God, not at this point. At this point, I've been in front of audience since I was 13. So you're looking at years.
Yeah,
But yeah, that meant a lot to me, because it's like, okay, great. That's because that's in any entertainment, your goal is to stand out. Your goal is to have something that makes
you want to be remembered.
There are talented people.
For any of us.
There are talented people everywhere, doing everything. And the old adage is that, there's talented guy A, talented guy B gets a lucky break and he goes this way, and talented guy A stays here because they got the break. It's a crapshoot. You never know what, you can make some opportunities, but the other opportunities have to be, you have to just luck into them. That's all there is to it.
But you do all these things not just in front of like an audience, you do them in front of kids,
right?
Which, it's really difficult to do anything in front of kids, and each age is different, and you just don't often have one age group. You have all of elementary school, which we just went through that. We had
we did a game show
last night. We had a game show in a
outside
Stevie Ray Vaughan
in
was
that
there.
heat. What's
like
that?
100, 200 kids.
Oh yeah,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yes, he was.
The ghost of Stevie Ray Vaughan came to your.
It kind of looked like it, didn't it?
Looked just like it.
It was completely burning out. It was so hot. And like 100, 200 kids, and they were all from like 12 years old to 3. I made one kid cry.
What did you do to make the kid cry?
We do a game show. It's a trivia, and we have a podium. Like Family Feud. The two people come up from each side, and they got to hit the buzzer to answer the question.
Everyone has a great time.
So of course they're kids. So of course they're smacking, and I would make an announcement when I'm starting the show. So please don't smack it, because if you break it, I'm out of a job. Ha ha ha. So I just tell them, just tap it. That's all you got to do. But of course you have your kids, And this one kid was kind of in a mood already.
Well, yeah, he was already meltdown city, so he was off to the side. And like as Tony's doing it, I do like a lot of the behind the scenes. Like I make sure they're getting their points. I organize the next kids that are going to
she
go
has
up.
a remote
I do
where you
like
can
a lot
hit the
of
point
running
and
around. And this one kid was just like balling to the side. So I was just kind of like looked at him. He's like, and then his father came up to me and he goes, he's really upset because he may not be able to have a turn because there's so many kids. I was like, okay, how old is he? I think he was like 7.
I think he was a little older than that.
8?
Yeah, 8 or 9.
Was that
That's
too
my guess.
young or too old?
No, we bring them all.
We had
all
3-year-olds
ages.
up
We'll
there,
figure something out.
12-year-olds
Yeah.
up there. And I have actually another funny story with that. But so I was like, yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'll get him up next.
See, that's why the difference between me and you is I would say, well, disappointment is a job skill. Learning how to handle.
I like you, Tom.
Yeah. You might as well get used to disappointment now.
And that's very fitting for this particular kid.
So I get him up there, and then he's one of those that's like he keeps slamming.
I didn't
it.
even say anything yet. He just came right up and just started.
He just wanted to hit the buzzer.
Yeah. But he's beating the shit out of
really
it.
bad.
And I'm standing there, and I'm just
so
looking
nice.
at him.
Tony's so nice. So I just went up to him, and I was just like,
She comes out of
I was like,
nowhere. She's right there.
If you hit it like that one more time, you're gonna have to go stand over there. And all of a sudden he goes,
And that's it. So I'm ignoring the fact that he's crying, and I just started asking questions, and he answered a few correctly, so that he.
But
got
this
better.
one, the other thing that I want to say is like everyone is like lining up, and they're saying to me like oh, my 3-year-old son wants to go up there. And so I start with like 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and then I went back down to the 3-year-olds. So this mother comes up to me and she goes, is he going to be able to do 12-year-olds? So I go, well, yeah, he'll definitely get to 12-year-olds. And she goes, so that's not too old? I go, no. We actually go up to 48. Like, kidding. Like, why would I pick that number? And she goes, oh, okay, good.
Good to know.
49, forget it.
Oh, okay. So all right. So I'm still in. I can still play.
Yes, you
but
can make
it
it.
was fun.
Yeah.
It was
I
totally burning
I
up.
tell people. I mean, you guys commented. I work for people. And let's say, for example, I'm like I was at an event. I was in Port Jeff last Saturday when it dumped down rain in the middle of twisting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the if you're in the know, that's the slang? I was twisting.
I was twisting. Yeah, that's it. There's words. Words are things. I added some time because we had to stop for the rain because it was a downpour. So
Just hold the balloon out, man. Fill it up with water.
Yeah.
Water balloon
Let's do it.
So people start coming up, and we open up again, and now the line is 3 times longer than it was before the rain. So I'm like, okay. I told the library, great, we'll push it back a little bit, but I said we got to cut the line because I got to get.
Wow.
Because look, I'm not a guy who comes in. I know people in my business who come in with a stopwatch. And if you book them for an hour, they start that timer when they walk in that room, and when that hour is up, they leave.
Yeah, we don't do that.
I don't believe in that personally,
that
but that's just how I do business.
Right.
So I give away a couple minutes of my time, no big deal. 15 minutes, no big deal.
Sure.
More than that, we have a conversation. But 15 minutes, I'll give you an extra 15 minutes, finish a couple, no problem.
Right.
So
that's fair, by the way.
So
too.
No, but it's funny. Everybody has that little line of, well, why not 16 minutes?
Right.
Why not half an hour?
Well, that's
why
the point.
not?
You got to cut it at some point, or you're working for free.
Yes.
I mean, that's just
That's the truth.
I will work and I will give a little bit back because I'm not about that. I'm not the highest priced balloon artist on Long Island. I'm happy where my prices are. I'm asked, raise your prices. No, thank you. Like, I'm good. Like, there are industry guys who say you don't charge enough.
Inflation killing everything else in the country but balloons.
Right? No. Well,
I think prices are like definitely going up. Like,
and I'm not raising mine. I'm not raising anything.
And I could tell that because like I just noticed with like the dog walking and the dog sitting that I do, like all of a sudden people are giving me tips. Like I think they're
because it takes a little more to get along. I mean, maybe it doesn't cost as much.
Like
right.
Because I haven't raised my prices because I don't know. I have my clients that I love and I just like I don't know. I love them.
But there's no reason not. But the point I was just I know I go off on tangents, but the long story short is that people will always come up to me and say at the end of the line, because the line is short. Oh, the line is short. Yes, ma'am, the line is short because it's closed. If there's a line, if the line was long, I'm still working.
Right.
I closed the line a half an hour ago. The line is short because it's closed. Oh, you can't say no to this kid. Yes, I can. You know, and why? Because I have kids of my own. I tell them no all the time. I'm
right.
used to no. I will tell your kid no too.
But you don't say that.
Do you?
At times, it depends on what I'm being presented with. Because there are people who get in your face, and if they get in your face, I will respond in kind.
So, can I make this a story about me, and you
yes.
can give me advice?
Go ahead.
So, I find I have been lucky in that when I have performed for children, I've had other people to be my backup. You know, like I've had bad guys and good guys for me, and I could get away with jokes like nobody cares. Gotta go by is another one. You know, like or the rooms have been so big, I could get away from the bad energy. I have one story, but I have found the more aggressive the parent, the less entertaining the child. Like with your story about the buzzer, and even with the balloon animal, if you're performing for a crowd, and then if you give in to the aggressive parent, you're now giving the microphone to bad entertainment for 4 minutes or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And if you don't give in to the parent, you look like a jerk. And my story is, this is going back, I'm opening for Nicki Minaj about 4 or 5 years ago.
And her mommy.
And no, but there's a mom in the crowd in what is the VIP section. There's a little girl with cancer and another girl who want to sing a Nicki Minaj story. And the mom's very aggressive about it. And I'm like, they know Nicki Minaj. Yes. They'll sing a Nicki Minaj song. Yes. You'll sing Nicki Minaj, right? The kid says yes. We're now in front of 4,000 people. It's a week where Nicki Minaj is feuding with Taylor Swift.
Oh.
And I'm like, all right, girls, what are you going to sing? And these two little girls go, we're going to sing Taylor Swift.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I just felt like this could risk the booking.
Yeah.
You guys are adorable, though. Let's clap for them, give them a round of applause. And I walk them off, and I looked at the mom, though. I looked at the aggressive mom. I'm like, you said this kid could, like, I'm like almost show busy here. Like, you said this kid could sing Taylor Swift. Or you said this kid could sing Nicki Minaj. What's the matter with you? You're an awful mom. And I basically felt awful because I gave a kid with cancer the hook in front of 2,000 people. If not 5,000 or 7,000 people.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a week-long thing. But how do you do? Like, is there a way to diffuse it without being aggressive?
gotta
Okay, look. I mean,
diffuse
you threw in a kid with cancer.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
but it was still
right. No, I
potential.
mean, yeah. I mean, but
She
you know,
died a week later because
No,
her
well,
wish
I was
wasn't
now-
fulfilled.
the
Thanks a
joke
lot,
I was going to
Tom.
make was she didn't have to live with the disappointment long.
Well, there you go.
But
Stealing
no,
girls' help caps, taking
no,
away
but-
dreams
Seeing
of
a
girls with
pattern.
cancer.
But it
Yeah,
was
there's
one of those
gotta be-
things where there was no way to come out looking like a hero,
No.
but she was about to say something where someone backstage may not have been as sympathetic if they couldn't see the girl, didn't know the girl's backstory.
sure.
I just looked like I brought girls to sing Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
you know, at a Nicki Minaj concert when Nicki Minaj got into a fight with Taylor Swift. And I
Right.
might be screwing up some of the band names. And
No,
It
that's
doesn't
not important.
matter.
But you
No,
got what I'm saying.
I mean, I hide behind over the top fake rage. That's just what I do. I like
Wait, I have to take
like
that in.
like
Over the top fake rage.
right. Like for example, I was at an event with another twister about a month and a half ago.
That's still going to make me good.
Kid asked for, let's just say, kid asked for a dog. She
Okay.
makes the dog, and at the end he goes, "I didn't want a dog. I wanted to actually have a mermaid."
Okay.
And she's like, "But you asked for a dog. Yeah, why would I have a mermaid?" So I'll go, "That's funny. You know what happened right there? You had balloon remorse. You asked for something, and you got the wrong thing. And you have to try to. You asked for a dog. You get a dog. You want to get something else? Go to the back of the line. We'd be happy to take care of you."
Oh my. Yeah, you scared me on that.
But I'm sorry, I hit the microphone. But I'm smiling. I'm over the top. It's a situation where it's like I'm saying something. I'm saying the truth. I'm not insulting the person. I'm not saying anything bad to the person. I'm telling them exactly what happened. You asked for a dog. She made you a dog. It happens all the time, guys. I know what happens. You get to the front of the line and go, "Oh, I see something else. I'd rather have that." I'm sorry, it's too late. You're gonna have to go to the back of the line if you want to try again.
Okay.
Because I'm giving it. I'm putting the information in a different context. I'm presenting it in a different way. So in his situation with Taylor Swift, any other time would be a great time for that, but this is not the time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like there's and then you've covered your bases. You've spoken the truth. You're not insulting this kid. You're not doing anything to this kid.
No.
But you're just taking the information. You're playing it in a different direction, and you're making it more palatable for that person.
It's funny. I always
maybe.
want to give my father's lifelong advice, which I've tried to turn this into a stand-up bit, and I can't quite. I've been thinking about making it a theme episode of the Tom Kelly Show podcast, where people could tag
On
their
YouTube?
kids on it on YouTube
On
and all
YouTube.
that. Yeah, but the thing would be the advice is nobody cares. At the end of the day, you wanted a dog, you got a mermaid. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. That's your
End of the
guys'
line. You
advice.
want to try it again? Nobody cares. And I just find that people don't want to hear it so much now. But it's
love
and
it.
there's a longer story about how that's the best piece of advice my father once gave me. Life isn't fair. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And once you
that's
accept that, you can live a great life.
Are you about to make something? I saw you.
I'm hoping. I went to the bathroom
This
thinking I'd be.
is my go-to joke. It's a cheesy one-line joke, but you inspired me with it, Tom. So, a lot of times a kid will come up, and they'll ask me for what's the fastest thing you know how to make? I go the earthworm, and they go and they'll go and then their first thought is, oh, I inflate one balloon and that's. I'm like, no. I said that's not how it works. I said this is the fastest thing I know how to make.
You want me to be a straight man? What's the fastest thing you know how to make?
Oh, the earthworm. There you go, sir. One earthworm.
And he tied the end.
Right.
Well,
So,
yeah, that's amazing.
and I'll do that, and then the kid will go, "Oh, great!" I go, "Is that your balloon?" Oh, no. So I'll have the earthworm back then. Thank you very much. What do you actually want me to make for you?
Wow. I'm gonna be honest, man.
You actually take the balloon
I'm
back.
not.
You take the balloon back.
Because
Oh, you're sweet. That's actually makes it nice.
because I'm giving you something else. My thing is, look, you get 1,000 questions, and you get the same 5 questions, and kids and adults. Because I told you my bicycle story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the bicycle story. Long story short, Tom. Wedding Crashers ruined it for balloon artists. Because every time you walk into a party, you get the same joke.
Yeah.
Make me a bicycle clown. Make me a bicycle clown. Okay, sure. You want a bicycle? That's fine. I'd be happy to make a bicycle.
Yeah.
So in my early part of my career, I would hear that joke all the time.
Yeah.
Until I finally learned a bicycle. And I learned a bicycle. Now I know a very good bicycle. And I go, okay, are we making a joke or do you want the bicycle? I'm good either way. And it's usually a guy who's had a couple of drinks. No, I'm good. And I'm like, all right, fine.
And he keeps walking. Okay, yeah.
You want the bicycle? Hey, I got you. And it's like, what's the craziest thing you know how to make? I ask questions about, what's the craziest thing to make. So I'll tell them what the craziest thing I can make. I said, I'm not going to make it now. We don't have the time for that,
Yeah. And I mean, you just want to go, oh, you saw that movie? Oh my God, you have Netflix too?
Yeah.
Amazing.
If I had nickel every time I hear that joke, I could retire as a
Right.
balloon artist.
Yeah.
But no, it's not being a jerk or anything. It's just like I'm playing up a little more because we're talking and we're on the air and everything. But it's not far off when I'm performing. I'm not getting in someone's face about it. But I'm also I'm loud. I'm a little obnoxious. I'm a little bit over the top. It has not gone well every time. I got a woman literally got me banned from a woman got me banned from an event because I offended her. Now what she said I never said. But I offended her. She went to the people who booked me for the event, and I've never gone to that event again in 7 years. I got banned from the event.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So be it. Okay. Because my humor, I got a little loud. I did my thing, and she didn't like it. And she said I cursed her out, which as Tony
I
would
will
say,
definitely back you up.
I
There's
don't
no
do.
cursing. Nope.
Well, that part bothers me that the event planner wouldn't have your back for that.
It's because I'm one entertainer in one of the entertainment capitals of the world. They'll find somebody else.
Yeah.
They don't. Need
Yeah,
me.
well, that's...
They don't need me.
So I had a similar thing along those lines. The show was America's Got Talent. It was Hammerstein Ballroom. Hammerstein Ballroom, a crowd of 5,000 people at what I felt was the high point of my career at that point. And
Right.
I am performing, I am entertaining people, and God bless them. Those shows were 4-hour performances, and I killed for the sake of the story. And I hate
believe
myself.
you did.
But for the sake of the story, I've never done better than this moment. And there was a moment in between one of the acts where they were turning off all the lights and making it dark. And again, I'm working my ass off, dodging bullets left and right. The lights go off, and my line was, folks, the lights are going off. Feel free to get frisky with your neighbor. Okay, now this is 2015. Show ends. and it was a Saturday. People were walking past me left and right saying, Tom, you did a good job. Finally, I've done something right in my life. I have a showbiz high on what was a very intimidating day. And then one girl comes up to me and goes, yeah, you were great until you told the audience to rape each other.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
And this is the
you
thing.
go.
It's kind of like the beginning of like the downside of comedy, like 2015.
It was the beginning, and it was the
beginning
beginning.
of like I don't want to say the beginning of the end at all, because
Now-
I really do think the pendulum's going to
I think it's
swing
gonna.
back.
I think it's gonna swing back so
And it's gonna be
far
okay.
that I'm gonna say, why can't we go back to the middle? Like, you know what? There was a point where
Right.
we could have grown. Maybe, you know what? Maybe. So here's where I failed and where the girl failed. And I actually got fired for 2 weeks and then brought back. But you know what? Maybe that was a poor choice of words for people who have experienced sexual trauma. Let's pause and digest that. What I should have probably said was, you know what? I'm sorry. I think I just walked away. And you know what? Maybe other people felt I said it too in a weird way. But to your point about what I need to learn in life is you have that unhappy customer. And it's funny, somebody else said this to me a year or two ago, and I didn't listen to it. She just gives the client whatever the hell they want. If somebody calls up and
Yeah.
says, Tom Kelly promised me a unicorn and a ride on a celebrity's lap, they'll at least give you the unicorn. You know, or they'll say, oh, we can't, you know what, he screwed up. You know what, I'm sorry you had a bad experience. They won't actually acknowledge fault, but they'll say, let me do... You know, like they
Because
manage
you'll
to
always
cap
look
off
like
the crazy.
better person then. Like you'll look like the person who took the high road, and then at the end, there's going to be someone who notices
Well,
that.
and the other one is, how do you divert the crazy? You know,
There's
and
crazy
there's something to be said about
everywhere,
giving
though.
into the crazy to some degree.
There's
before
crazy
it gets
everywhere.
Crazy.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like, if something goes bad, I'm the first person to hold on to that way too long.
Oh, I am. I'm holding on to this story 6 years later.
I was. This is years ago. I was performing at I do a lot of pro wrestling balloons. I've done over 200 wrestling balloons.
And I saw a few in the pictures. They look amazing.
And so thank you. And so I've done. I was working a wrestling event in the city, and then I'm going downtown, and a friend of mine couldn't make it the event. He was in a restaurant like right by Penn Station. There was a big it's like steakhouse or some sort of big. I'm not sure what it was.
Keen's, the good one with the pipes on the ceiling.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
That's an amazing steakhouse.
Yeah. So he's like, "Come meet me."
They keep
and we'll hang out and bring your balloons and we'll hang out. I'm like, okay, fine. So I was already dressed for a gig. So I walk into the place with balloons on my shoulder. I'm already drawing attention to myself that I'm not looking to get. I'm just I'm in the city. I'm performing. I can only go so far. So I go into the place. I go upstairs and the place is packed, like not a seat in the house. And the guy goes, "Oh, hang out with me and twist balloons. Twist me a balloon." So I'm like, all right, because I'll do it.
He invited you as an entertainer, though, not as his friend.
Well, he invited me, right. He invited me as an entertainer, as his friend, but he wanted me to entertain at the same time. Now, if I'm at a table, if I'm sitting down at a table and I'm twisting balloons, that's fine. But I'm standing up in a crowded restaurant next to his table trying to twist a balloon. First thing, a little kid walks up to me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I said, I'm not really working. I said, I'm just doing this for a friend. And not the word gets out of my mouth, and the manager comes over and kicks me out of the restaurant.
Wow.
Like literally, legitimately stares me down and kicks me out of the restaurant.
To be fair to everybody, your friend should have gotten you a chair.
I agree with you. But I'm just saying that the situation did not go the way it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
So I'm and again, I take my fault in it too. I should have said something to somebody. maybe shouldn't have done it. Like I'm not saying I'm immune to this. I'm just saying it was a bad situation where he literally like escorted me out of the restaurant, like stared me out of the restaurant. It was the second floor, so he basically like stalked me down the stairs until I left the building, which is fine. He's doing what he had to do. He's doing his job. But I felt like the biggest like piece of garbage.
Yeah, and then what did your friends say? Did your friends?
So after so I leave because I can't go back in. I've just been thrown out of the restaurant by this guy. And he got me on Facebook later. He's like, dude, I'm sorry, guys. I talked to the server. I said we knew you, and she's like, well, it was already done. There was nothing he could do,
And then he asked for the balloon. He never got.
No, and I know. I threw the half balloon I was in the middle of doing in the garbage on the way out outside the restaurant.
Good news is it was an earthworm.
Right, it was an earthworm. No, it was actually Bret the Hitman Hart, but that's not important right now.
Anyway, Tony, what else you got? Because we got to.
Are we getting a Tom Kelly balloon?
Oh, jeez.
That just sounds like a lot of work.
Is that possible? Yeah, you can say no if you want.
Hold on. How much time we got, Tony?
Well,
show ended an hour ago.
No, haven't got no time. Tom.
Sally's leaving. No,
Where does Sally
we
go?
got a few, no, it was, how much time do you think?
But
you need?
how many people?
10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes is fine. 10 minutes is fine.
How many people are in the chat room? I always like to say. Oh, by the way, you know what you have in common with your experience at Keen's and their experience at Beansy?
Yeah.
Neither of you got your steaks.
That's what she was saying. She was
Yeah, Keensy and Beansy, no
Bringing up
steaks.
The no steak.
No.
All right, so while he's over there making his Tom Kelly balloon, there's something that I like to do with a lot of our guests. I like to look at their Facebook and I look at mutual friends, and then I'm just going to rattle off some names.
Oh,
You
I
say
think we
whatever you
have a
want.
weird list too.
That's what struck me about the list because there was
Because like
do you
the
have?
one weird common friend button already is your friend Mike Keegan. Our friend Mike Keegan.
Yeah, I was about
Yeah.
to say it's your friend. Too.
Comedian friend Mike Keegan is very good friends with my parents' next door neighbor. A guy
that's
named who
really-
is not attached to comedy at all.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
You know, but it's just
No, he
weird.
didn't say the time.
But-
Like Mike came over like last year for
Well,
4th
and
of
that's how this
July.
whole thing came up. Is the
Yeah.
story on Keegan came up that day? And I'm like, Keegan was just down the block.
Yeah.
And I am much more amused by this than everybody else. I love that we're going to ask me deep questions while there's a man making a damn.
Quiet
Yeah.
as possible.
This is what your life's come to, Tom.
Well, but one name that struck me on the list is my brother.
Who?
My brother Frank Walker. He's one of your friends.
Wait, Frank Walker is a disease.
Well,
Yeah, wait. Hang on. Which one though? Yeah,
Yeah,
is he-
that's him.
Frank Walker used to go to the TV shows, and Frank Walker had not the one where you wear purple. He had something with the stomach.
yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
actually, Frank's
Yeah.
a very. Hang on, but this is where I'm good with names ish. Frank came to a couple of the TV shows, and then Frank.
What TV shows?
I feel like he came to The View, and I knew him from. But I feel like I also knew him from. He played music. Did he play music?
He's a
No,
musician, yeah.
He never came to the TV shows.
Oh, that's all right. There.
No. We're gonna talk about.
No, it's okay. I shut off your mic. We're not gonna.
No, I'm kidding. That was a joke 2 minutes ago. Get your ass in here, buddy. No, do not leave me, or I am going to be very upset. Get your.
I'm not leaving.
I said get in the damn thing. See, that's my fake outrage. That was my.
Yeah, Bill. Okay, he's staying there. Okay.
And I don't know that.
I'm right here. You can't miss me. I'm right here. I'm right here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, now go away, Derek.
We probably could have stopped right before the balloon. Just the balloon was probably the one extra trick we did not need for the podcast. But,
Bring home a balloon
but he
to
told all
yourself.
these great. Yeah, no, that's gonna be great to explain to my father later too. By the way, I just if anyone asks, I don't live with my parents, or I have my own apartment, but I have my own place. So I'm just at my folks and on Long
Well,
Island.
yeah,
2 or 3
because
days a week.
because you're the oldest kid on the
I am
beach club list.
We're in a beach club, and I might be the oldest person with a kids membership still.
That beach club,
That's
man.
fantastic.
It's so funny. Like when we first moved in, we were like, "Oh wow, this is gonna be great," because kids were like little, and then we got put on like we
The wait
bought
list.
yeah we bought the house and we were on a 4-year wait list.
Awful.
And then by time it was time to come around
Kids
that
are
we
dead.
could,
Your kids are old. Kids are
the kids were
graduating.
like, we don't even care. So
It's,
and now we just now my goal in life is not that I'm ever going to say anything, but I think if you live in the neighborhood and the beach club people are going to park in front of your house all summer long, we should have like 1 day a week we could go in for free, because it's like so inconvenient. Like every time we go out there,
Well,
there's like a
there's
new car
another
pulling
thought:
up.
is
We're like,
when you bought that house, was that beach club there yet? Yeah.
yeah, it was,
Get over
but
yourself.
we thought we'd
When-
be in it.
Like I thought about buying your house, not to be obnoxious, but I've thought about buying your house twice, and the reason why I didn't buy it, beach club right across the street.
Yeah.
Get over
Yeah.
yourself. That said, but the one thing the real estate agents don't do is they don't tell people buying in the neighborhood about the 4-year waiting list to get
They
to the
don't
beach
tell you
club.
about the waiting list.
Yeah, there should really be
Yeah.
a sign outside the beach club for the sake of new.
By the
but that would kill property
way-
values by 20%.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, it's a great area, and I love it. And
but
I
I rem-
love the house, so I'm really happy you didn't buy it.
But is Frank Walker still alive?
yes.
Yeah. Tell him Tom
And
Kelly said hi.
how did this?
I don't remember much. Where really, this is the hard part with mutual friends is there's people you met 4 times in the 2000s and they're still there. He doesn't hit like on any of my posts.
Son of a bitch, that
but
Frank.
but I also miss. I'm nostalgic for Facebook from that era. I think we met a couple of times. He was a performer. I'm vaguely remembering Amityville. I'm vaguely remembering he had both legs, so it's obviously this one leg thing, not hereditary.
Yes,
and
that's
the fun one with him is, he was a very kind man. He had some sort of a disease he was raising awareness for.
Yeah, he's always doing
I think I went to a fundraiser. Yeah, he's going to get you guys kicked out of the studio.
Yeah, totally.
And
yeah.
he's not getting the damn hint. I like it's funny when guys start doing this stuff. This is why I don't do the podcast. Is I really don't want to be associated with the guy making balloon animals loudly after we asked him to come back in. I'm like, dude, I'd like to work here again, and you're not getting. And that's also what drove me into comedy. Is nobody listens to me unless I have a microphone or I throw a brick through a window.
So we'll cover you when you're
Please
leaving,
come
so
in
they don't
here.
see
I don't
you.
need the balloon animal. You know what I mean when I say I don't need the balloon animal? I don't fucking need the balloon animal. I'm the most honest person. I'm not just being polite. I say exactly what thoughts on the top of my head and what I want out of life. And the honest to God truth is that balloon animal's now going to sit in my car and I'm going to resent it because it's a reminder of people don't listen to me when I express my feelings, and I'm going to end up. I only hope that this fucking balloon Tom Kelly lasts till Monday when I have therapy with Dr. Cheryl, and I do it by telehealth, and I could show her the balloon animal.
Yeah. You
and
could
how
be like
it's an
this.
object of my resentment.
Who else you got on the list?
Show the show.
Can I turn one of these cameras on him right now? Because
Yeah,
he's pumping the balloon.
Yeah.
Is there a hallway cam?
I've been on
Yes.
and off.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, there's that camera right there by the door, but he walked
He's
away.
over there.
he's
There
over
is a
this right
hallway
now.
cam. That's funny.
Yeah.
But your brother was a talented musician, raised money for. But what's driving me nuts is the disease. It wasn't Crohn's disease, but it was something stomachy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
And what was? But wait, hang on. Tell me anyway. Tell me.
It's commonly known as prune belly.
Prune belly. Now I also giggled every time I said prune
Yeah.
belly. I remember
Yes,
that
as
too.
I do. Yes,
But he was a great man, and you're right. But this is a funny thing about finishing the story is I am nostalgic for Facebook of 2010.
Why?
It used to show you,
Oh, yeah.
like, you know what I missed? I actually, like, you have dogs. I'd love to see pictures of them.
I
don't
have
want to know
a lot.
what you think about Trump. I don't want to know what you
Yeah.
think about Biden.
Then
We're
I'm your
all
favorite
irrit-
person because that's exactly what I do. I stay away
Yeah,
from all
but
that
the
stuff, and I just
algorithm
do
doesn't
like
show me
funny
that. It
things for the
shows me
family.
what irritates me, not what makes America great.
Yeah.
and back then it used to just show you who posted last, and it would just
Yeah.
it would show
Yeah,
you
I missed
everybody.
the real-time timeline. and
Like one of
that's-
my last pictures is Ludo. Like Ludo.
Can we tell them about Ludo?
Oh,
We've
yeah.
talked about Ludo like
Okay.
crazy.
Ludo-
Wait,
the last
I
one of
know
the
it's
last
funny, you just made
pictures-
the face that my father made about Ludo. So Ludo is, I have a very energetic sister-in-law. My brother's sister-in-law is the most energetic and kind person.
Yeah.
Her husband, Ryan, is the most kind and patient human being. Okay? Somewhere along the line, they decide to get a dog, and the dog literally has some form of a brain injury for her behavior.
No, he doesn't at all.
Okay,
fun.
pause, but whatever
Because
it
every
is,
one of your families have said that, and we're like, what is it that
the
everyone
dog
thinks
just
he's
wouldn't
crazy?
stop. Like, we'd have a family party, and the dog just wouldn't stop. Or maybe he wasn't right
Maybe
for that
because he was
environment.
young, because he's like 5 now.
I could care less about that dog. And it's funny as my nephews.
Look, he's just he's
Yeah, my
kinda
nephews
cool.
love the dog.
Yeah.
And so instead of sending the dog upstate, because the dog, I guess, gives one of the kids allergies or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of just putting the dog down,
Sending the dog
they
upstate.
luckily Sallie adopted.
Yeah, we
Instead of
took
the
Ludo.
lie of he's living on a farm upstate.
Yeah,
he's
we talked
living.
about that.
But
Not with Ludo, but like all our
Not
our
with
animals
Ludo.
were
We
like
had a
sent
conversation.
upstate. It's like if you don't live on Long Island, you don't know that story. Like no parent has ever said to you,
oh, that was a big
he's
Brooklyn
on a
story.
big animal farm upstate.
Yeah, and it's funny. I remember the age I was when I found out there was no such
Me
thing. as a
too.
farm
I was like in
upstate.
my 20s, and I was like, someone said something like, one of our we had a rabbit, and the rabbit got like sent to the like an animal farm upstate, and then my sister starts laughing. I'm like, what happened to that rabbit? Yes,
Who
we
else
have
is on our
Ludo.
mutual friend game? I like the mutual friend game. But that's the thing is, I miss when you talk about missing and being nostalgic for Facebook. I miss your food pictures. I miss the pictures of what's going on in your kids' lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find the mutual friend button is magical because here we are now, especially in our friendship, we're
Yeah.
really 4 degrees of Facebook friends away from each other.
Right.
And were it not for this comedy club, I don't know if I would know that I know you guys
Right.
so well.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
you're friends with my father. You know
Right.
my in-laws. You know my brother's
Are
mother-in-law.
you gonna do the
The Mike Rutherford.
The Mike
thing? I actually
Rutherford
showed
thing?
that to Tom on the 4th of
Did you
July
do
when
that
I saw
already?
him.
Who's Mike Rutherford?
When I showed you the picture of
From
Ludo
Genesis.
with the
Yeah.
yes, Mike and the mechanics
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah, I told my father. Actually, here's the Ludo joke of the day. I told my father you were thinking of changing Ludo's name,
Yeah.
but that you weren't. Ludo wasn't responding to the new name.
Right.
And then my father's line was, Ludo wasn't responding to the name Ludo either.
It's like we're talking about two different dogs, though.
I know. Like he's so he's so calm.
Well, listen, I think one, you're dog people in a different. And you know
well,
what it
if
is,
they're
too?
if they're in what?
But you're like a good forever home.
Yeah,
I think you
and
are.
he's
You
just-
know animals. You're patient. Your kids are grown.
Yeah.
And you know them
Yeah.
as young parents have a different amount of traffic coming in.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
You know, you have a different amount of hours to focus on them. Like they're both working teachers.
Yeah.
I'm still confused how you make money. You know, it's. You know, but you have a different lifestyle that
Yeah.
might be more appropriate for him.
Right.
You know.
All right, so the other one of the other names, which we can go on all day about this one, is of course Joey Cola, who you
Cola's,
mentioned before.
Joey Cola, the king of all warm-ups. Joey Cola, the king of Long Island comedy.
Is that how you got into warm up through him, or
No, but Joey is still an influence. My fairy godmother is a woman named Jeanette Barber, who I was her writer's assistant at the Rosie O'Donnell show.
Oh, very nice.
And the Rosie O'Donnell show was filmed in Rockefeller Plaza at NBC.
Right.
And Joey was the legend for young people who wanted to be comedians.
Yeah.
Joey was the access point for a lot of people who wanted to go into comedy in the first thing. So he is definitely, while he may not be my exact fairy godfather, he's a friend, mentor, and and a guy. Like if I lose a gig to Joey Cola, it makes sense.
Right.
He's the
Joey
one.
Cola, where?
See, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Joey Cola.
A
Yeah.
bigger man crush on Joey Cola than one Tony Walker.
So do you tell me about your relationship with Joey Cola?
Well, my
Can we
relationship.
really stop the balloon? I'm okay.
What's that?
No, I'm laughing. I'm just laughing at the balloon thing. You can catch it on the replay.
Nothing. I just want to. I want to do what I'm asked to do.
Yeah.
I'm performing monthly, Tom. What do you want from me?
Joey actually grew up with a cousin of mine, and that was actually how I first.
What, Bayshore?
Bayshore Islip. Yeah,
Yeah.
and and then I
Like next door neighbor or something, right?
same block something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Derek, I've been acting and performing for years and years, and I went into the city once to audition for something. I was coming home on the train. I went in for the audition and came right home, so I was in the city for maybe an hour. So the train, I was catching like a noon train, so it wasn't crowded leaving the city. So I'm sitting at the seat, and I look over to my right. Across the aisle from me, sitting in a seat by himself, is Joey Cola. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. So I just kind of leaned over. I said, Joey Cola. And he goes, yeah. So I said, I'm cousins with so-and-so. And I said, I'm a fan of your comedy. Oh. And I said, I don't want to bother you. He said, oh, no, you're not bothering me at all. And we ended up sitting next to each other, had a nice, long, hour-long conversation on the ride home because we were going, pretty much the same stop. And I just remember thinking, oh, my God, this guy he's a great comedian, but just the nicest guy in the world.
He's
I was
the
like, holy
same.
shit. Fast forward, a few years later, I'm, working in here, and I've seen him at some family things because he's close friends with
Yeah,
my
we
cousin.
usually see him at weddings and
Yeah.
stuff.
We would just say hi, have quick
Oh,
conversations.
one time he sat in front of us at a Billy Joel concert too.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then we do our murder mysteries, the comedic murder mysteries, and
Is that how you got into this place?
that's
Started
how
with
I got
murder
into.
mysteries?
Yes, we were doing one in the little room or giggle room, whatever you want to call it. And we saw this room and we asked them about it. It was not completely dormant, but there was very little activity going in here at the time. So we just asked. We said, well, we can maybe try to make something, turn this into something.
Actually, how is this going?
So. I mean, actually, our numbers have been getting better recently. I don't.
Yeah.
How do you get new listeners? Like, I could learn from you guys. I should be interning for you guys.
I do think I have high hopes for this thing at Jones Beach. I mean, we're talking, I would say at least 500 people in that crowd every single concert at that Boardwalk band shell.
And you're going to podcast from the...
No, we're just hosting. We're going up to the mic. Hi, everybody, we're from Gov's Podcast. Come watch us. We're from the Comedy Club. Here's the Beatles band. Like, we're introducing the acts.
Well, you have access to this channel. Why don't you stream the show?
I guess we could. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we could. I don't know if the.
Well, I'll tell
I
you,
guess
Joey
the bands-
Cola. I mean, again, you talk about Joey Cola is a. So, I mean, by the way, I mean, as we're rambling, are we even on air anymore?
Yes.
Are there people? How many people are in the room? I always like to know.
Well, yeah,
That's how I
we
judge.
lost the signal again.
Yeah, we lost the.
I'll check in a second. Yeah, we usually stop anytime between 12:30 and 1.
No, because
so
like
we're
it's
good.
funny. Like you get into this so many approaches to this sort of stuff right now.
Right.
I think this you guys are doing stuff during the day is great, but I really love your stuff on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Yeah, like Saturday night.
The Saturday
here.
night thing we do
Yeah,
is a
I think you should be
blast.
going Friday, Thursday. Well, so anyway, it's so fun that I can manage everybody else's career but my own.
Yeah. No, I love the
No,
Saturday night too. It's like a great green
Cola
room
gave
show.
me a great piece of advice for my podcast, which was to stop podcasting. And his line was, "There's too many talking heads. Everybody can do it,
that's
but
the
what I
truth.
do
Yeah.
special is
We feel
I'm
that
good
way
at
too,
going places."
often.
You know,
But
like what I find interesting even about that is you're two people sharing a moment. Why not share the moment with anybody?
Right.
I wonder about the value of live streaming. I have a
Yeah.
I'm pro and against it. The pro
We are too.
is
There's
people
good things
wander
about things.
into it.
Yes.
The con is I think all of the good content gets so spread out that you lose the importance of the conversation. Like we had some
Agreed.
real moments, like in this conversation, we've had real moments about exes. We've had real moments about people I've loved. We've had real stories about your leg. And God, I actually feel like a better friend walking away from it. But we're now 2 hours in, and there's a guy making balloon animals in the hallway.
Welcome to my world.
You know, and we're wondering if he's now irritating the booker. You know.
He came out, actually.
Yeah, that's
we know.
why, and that's why we asked you to stop an hour ago.
Well,
Oh my God! But that is a hell of a balloon. I just am a. You know what's funny? You don't realize what people think of you.
Until
until
someone
you see a
draws
balloon of
picture.
yourself.
But I will, at the very least, by the end of this, start coloring my hair again. I also have noticed the hairline on this balloon. Should I? Right? Is the hairline somewhat intentional?
I didn't want to keep going, and I could have added one more gray. That's on me. It was not a judgment nor a reflection on your actual look.
No. It is very much a judgment and a reflection. And I'll tell you something. This balloon is almost worth the fact that the bookers will never book me here again.
See?
Almost.
Well, they booked the balloon, though. That's the
They did
question.
book the balloon. The balloon is now headlining here in the Giggle Room, October 25th, instead of a murder mystery. Did I get the date right? I was
Tom
close.
Kelly
Pretty
balloon,
close.
Olga Namer, and Mario Bosco,
And,
all in one night.
and the worst part is the Tom Kelly balloon is actually opening for Olga and Mario.
It's taller than
Special
Mario.
guest.
Yeah, it is Mario.
I love Mario. I see Mario a lot in the city now.
It's
Mario-
actually Mario in a suit.
Mario is TikTok is taking off. You guys should, if you're into social media, and if
I
you
have noticed that.
If you are following the, I just feel like I should keep this on my lap. with the camera on. But if you guys are following the adventure of watching governors comedians grow, I've seen Mario working his ass off at a comedy club in the city, which we won't name.
Okay. You can if you want.
Put it a little
Could,
to the
but
left
it's
if you don't
in
mind.
I don't. The next.
It's right in front of your face, so just
Put it to the
put a little
left?
to
Yeah.
the left. Yep,
There you go. Yep. Perfect.
there you go.
There's by the way, this is this will be on my Instagram later.
But you're right. I mean,
But yeah, but anyway, Mario's
Yeah,
Mario's
he
finding
works
his
hard.
voice. He's
Yes.
working his ass off, and God bless, he is finding his voice on TikTok and
Yeah.
finding his audience on TikTok. And so if you're into following people's adventures there, do that. And I always say this to people in comedy, like they're always like, Tom, can I take you out for dinner? Can I buy you a steak? Well, all that involves a lot
Again
of
with
work.
the steak.
Why not just share people's stuff? Hit the thumbs. Honestly, just hitting thumbs up on a comedian's work is useful.
Yes.
But you get into it, going back to the Joey Cola story, is Joey gave me 5 or 6, I can't take myself seriously. But Joey's line, and you get into what's the value of any of this. I came here thinking, one, it'd be a time to hang out with friends. I didn't think I'd get to make a new one. And then, but his line was, Tom, go out and do something with your podcast. And he's right. My podcast, Walking Around Sunrise Mall, did a lot better than other podcasts.
Right.
Tom's the one who closed the mall.
What's that?
Well, that's what he did. He walked around an empty
Yeah,
mall.
I did. I
Oh,
walked
did
around
you?
the mall as it was closing and did my mall memories there. But I would argue, for as great as it is that you're attached to Governors, I feel like you're missing the magic of this place sometimes. And the other question I would
Like
have
what?
is,
Say that. Like,
well, like an
explain that.
easy one is that hallway is not just for cleaning supplies and balloon animal making. The couple of times I've come here on a Thursday night when there's more comedians, I kind of wandered in. Experience some magic of what you guys do, and then was politely shooed out for the next person. And I mean that in a, ooh, that's awesome way, not in a self-loathing way. During the day, it's okay, it's just a room.
Yeah.
You could have just as easily done this on your lawn, and frankly, your lawn, the way you have the lawn furniture is kind of fantastic.
Yeah, I love
They're the only lawn in
furniture
Biltmore
there.
Shores where all the backyard furniture is in the front yard.
Because
Yeah.
we get to see Tom Kelly
But
drive
it is, but there you go. There's an energy to that.
Yeah.
Right.
And
We
I'm
have backyard furniture too. I like that. I like sitting up there and watching people as they walk by. Here, come
it's
by,
like a
have
veranda.
a drink, do whatever you
without
want
the
to do.
veranda.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people could say hi to you. And anyway, but going into what do you want out of life in show business, I want to do something that's important. I want to do something that makes people happier. And I'll add the third line, which is why I love my podcast tagline is Tom Kelly Show, one comedian fixing life, is I do like the idea of making a life better. And
There you go, Tom.
oh, that's wait, what is that?
Tom Kelly.
Oh, but
Tom
there you go.
Kelly
That's my
Show.
demo reel.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say Tom Kelly
But
Show.
he subscribed.
Subscribe to Tom Kelly
Oh,
Show.
that's what I was looking at.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
what that's how I support.
There you go. Add a subscriber. And you know what's annoying is ever since I'm doing well on YouTube Shorts right now.
That's what I'm hearing is the next
And
thing.
I'm almost at this point, I'm like, geez, do I need to rebroadcast everything I've ever done on TikTok tonight?
Right.
And, but anyway, it's the share of finding a new frontier and the share of the joy of having, I want to find the balance, but I want to keep growing. And Cola, but anyway, going back to what you guys, what's your goal here? Because I could learn from you guys. Is I kind of like just turning on the YouTube and there you are, and I can be a part of it.
Right.
It's weird, but I've also haven't done it on purpose.
But that's, and I recently had a conversation with, do you know Donna Drake?
I've been acquaintances with her for a very long time. I like her and admire her from afar.
Donna Drake, she's a close friend. And,
She's a pioneer and a hustler.
well, and that's why I admire her. She makes it work, and she's got an amazing story. Her producer Lou,
She basically hosts a Long Island-based TV show you could pay to be on.
Yes.
and
Yeah,
she
that's
makes
exactly
she
it.
makes a good living at it.
And she makes a great demo, and being on her show looks great.
Right.
And I know people around the country who talk about
Well,
wanting to be on her
it's
show.
simulcast on CBS, I believe, Saturday or Sunday mornings at 6 a.m.
I think she
So
gets it on CBS, and then she does it on the internet now? What's her
It's
business
both.
model?
It's mostly on
CBS
CBS.
Sunday mornings at like 6 a.m. and then you can catch each interview separately on,
Oh, it's
on her
not
YouTube
just on
channel.
TV 55. It's on WCBS Channel 2 now.
Yeah.
Well, it's 55, but I believe in some parts of the country it's owned by CBS or something. There is there is
Channel
some kind-
55 is owned by local CBS now.
Okay, right. So yeah, it's streamed all over the country, or
Okay, yeah.
broadcast all over the country on
There you go.
some channel. But then it's also on YouTube. But now she has her own studio, so she does her own show there, and she rents a studio out to anybody that's doing anything.
Okay.
So and again, it's an amazing story how she's gotten to that level, all while being a single mom, no less.
Yeah.
Yes,
And her work is great.
Yes, absolutely. And so I've had conversations with her producer Lou, who's another great guy, and he's actually said that to me. He goes, "What are you trying to do by going live?"
Yeah, he's like, why do you
he's
go on
against it.
live? He hates the live.
He goes, "You don't get a lot of people. And like you said, they see all the nooks and crannies. You can't edit it and make it better." He's not for it, but I like you said, and people do like being a part
I
of
like
it and
the
commenting
mess
and
a little bit.
Well, I think
You
the
know.
argument is,
and then you can
I
always
see
it
both
later.
sides.
You can
Well, I'll
always
tell
see
you
it
what
later
I'm
too.
doing,
So.
but I don't know if this is the right answer either. I'm recording a live podcast. I've turned my apartment into a little bit of a video studio.
Right.
And I'm now debuting twice a week at 10 o'clock on YouTube. And that can be molded and pointed. And I do like the interaction of to use the Aaron Berg line of playing to the 80 people, I do like the idea of building on the people who already like me.
Yes,
Now, I
yes.
don't know how to go. I think it creates a deeper sense of connection. You're creating a sense of community with a line.
Absolutely right.
The question, though, is the product is. I'm talking about my interview now. Yeah, I think you have a lot of me stuttering now. You have a lot of me pontificating, and you have. And who the hell's going to listen to 2 hours of Tom Kelly?
But I do think, well, and I agree, especially in this day and age, people just want the 30-second TikTok. It's unfortunate, in my opinion. And I'm totally dating myself, and this is not going to help my argument, but I was big fan of Mike Douglas and those style shows where everybody just sat together and had a conversation. And I love Fallon. I love his show, but his show is not what the Tonight Show used to be. It's all skits and games, which, again, it's funny, and I love it.
Well, he's doing stuff. He is doing it as a feeder. So this is where you got to figure out content. And I love talking about it out loud because it helps me come to my own answers.
Sure.
Is the Tonight Show is really a producer of YouTube videos. And then within that, there might be TikToks.
Right.
But it's you start with the big product and how do you break it up? And how do you refine it? My mentor, Jeanette Barber, and she will be the first one to tell you that these numbers change every day and you have to tweak it.
Right.
But she feels if you look at a TED Talk, they're always 18 minutes. Because somebody at TED feels your attention span for someone talking stops at 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
I have tried my best to keep the Tom Kelly show to 18 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes I go 22. And then this week I tried to do 2 18-minute podcasts with a guy. And a funny comedian, Ben Rosenfeld, who's big on Russian TikTok. Put that in your pocket for later. And I found there was so much rambling on the first episode, so much rambling on the second episode. I have boiled it down to I actually combined it into one 30-minute show because it was incohesive otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I hit, though, the deep moments. There was just a lot of, crap. There was a lot of, what do you think of Jennifer Lopez? I don't think of anything about her. Okay, well, that's great.
Plus, you have
Moving
to
on.
understand that, like, the kids today, like, they keep their phone on double time. So when they watch a YouTube,
They're watching at 2-speed.
it's
Yeah. Well, my friend Dan Stanton
Yeah.
likes lots of short podcasts. He's a regular supporter of mine, but he listens at 1 2/3 speed or 1 1/4.
Yeah.
Whatever the speed is, and he listens to. But he also every morning sets up an a la carte playlist of NPR first. Then he does Tom Kelly second. I'm his second choice of the morning.
Not bad
And he
after
does
NPR.
business, but all at 1.25 speed.
Right.
Right.
Now, am I going to pander to everybody listening at 1.25 speed? No. But for me, now you get into what do I want?
Right.
I do enjoy the thrill of doing something more than once a week and having a regular following. I do enjoy the thrill of a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do enjoy the thrill of growing and exploring and not doing the same thing. And sadly, I'm getting hurt by the fact that I'm not doing a niche podcast, which I think, like we all, it's scary. Are you doing a balloon animal podcast?
I'm not.
You should be. I mean, you're entertaining.
During
and
the pandemic, I love what you were doing. You were making a balloon a day on.
We did. I went live during the initial quarantine when everyone shut down.
And how many followers you on Instagram?
I have 2,700 followers on Instagram.
Okay, I mean that's something. That's an audience.
Absolutely.
I got about 1,900 on Facebook and Twitter. I've got like 1,000 and something.
What I find I'm not doing right, and I feel like you may not be doing right, is right now you're just 2 people.
Yeah.
But you're 2 people with amazing interests and not capitalizing on either of them. You with the dogs and the animals, and you're adopting.
Oh, I should do like a dog podcast.
I mean, or even a dog live stream a day. Walking one dog. Who is the dog? What's going on? I don't know. Or
I actually do that. Like if you went on because we are for like Facebook friends. Like I have like Sam skateboarding with Ludo, and I have I do stuff like that. But I just do it for our family and friends.
But what I'm realizing with
you're right.
with the internet is nobody really wants Tom Kelly as one blob of a personality. I have yet to focus on one interest. When I talk about Star Trek, boom, things go up. I explore abandoned property, boom, things go up. I interview other comedians. It's, everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
Now, the difference with you
I
and
get
this
exactly
piece of
what you're
real estate
saying.
is, and I mean, you'd have to figure out what's the right balance of not irritating the bigger name acts, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I think this place for a live on a Thursday, Friday, on a Thursday is amazing.
We were doing them on Thursdays. For
Yeah,
a long
well,
time.
with a Saturday, I think you're just irritating the headliner, or you could be, or if if I
Depends
don't-
on the headliner.
No, but if I
Depends.
don't know, making up a name, Dane Cook comes in and says, I'd rather not do a live. Who are these guys? You're shut down for the night. On a Thursday, it's generally a showcase
Yeah,
show.
but that's the beauty of the Giggle Room, because like a Thursday, we know most of the comedians that are playing the Giggle Room, so they're a shoo-in to show up,
Okay,
and we have a blast.
then there you go.
And then once in a while, I
And
would say
there's
maybe-
other people on the main stage too, besides
Right,
the main.
if we're here every Saturday, let's just take 1 month, 4 Saturdays. I would say two Saturdays out of that, the headliner will at least stop in, even if it's
They'll
for 5
wave,
minutes.
they'll say hi for a
Or
few
you
minutes.
get a Jim
Yeah.
Florentine or Tom. The night you were here,
Yeah, Cotter
Tom
came in
Cotter
and gave
came
a
in and
great
stayed
chat.
for a long time. Then he walked by with his pants
Like
down.
Louis
which was
C.K.
hilarious.
is never going to come in here. Like he
CK didn't
goes,
stop
he
in,
walks
but-
in there
But
with
now,
his
were you
with his
allowed to
dog.
broadcast with Louis C.K. in the building?
Yeah,
Yeah, but we didn't. Yeah, we couldn't show him. But we were here when Dice was playing.
Were you allowed to say Dice was in the building?
Yes.
Were you allowed
Now-
to say Louis C.K. was in the building or no?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But Dice didn't come in. Louis C.K. didn't come in, but Dice's opener came in. And when Dice was leaving the building, we were
Yeah,
still
Eleanor?
on. And
Is that her name?
Eleanor Kerrigan. When Dice was leaving the building after the show, we were still streaming, and he walked by and he said, "Good night, guys," or
Yeah.
"Have a nice night."
Yeah,
and
and
we
I
got
got
that
him.
much.
So you're thrilled to being here on a show. For
But-
me as a viewer is, oh my God, you never know what might happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, again,
like
Cotter
you can,
shows
you can
up.
actually call in here.
Jim
there's,
Florentine
like, a lot
came in
you
and
could
sat
do.
down for 15, 20 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the payoff of some of these guys. Adam Ferrara didn't come in, but he stood there and watched us for a while.
But I understand that the tightness of a show that you can edit afterwards, that's not live. Like I understand that as
The
well.
next thought is, do you take the live and then boil it down to a highlights?
Which
You
we
know,
do sometimes.
how much
We'll
wo-
take a clip and post it later
You know,
on.
with all this stuff, it then becomes how much of a part-time job do you want to make it, and what's your budget?
Right.
I do a podcast. I'm now no longer doing the live stream because my gift in show business is pandering to whoever's in the room.
Yeah.
But my curse is I don't have a TV act right now. You know, I don't have a scripted 15 minutes. Like, honestly, it's probably why I'm one of the best MCs in the world, and I'm a different kind of headliner that may not be right for TV because you don't know how it's gonna, how it's gonna end.
Yeah.
But I would argue if you had a budget, then you need, like Vinnie Brand, I think, is doing live shows, like
Yeah.
Stress Factory, but then he's paying an intern or paying somebody from the restaurant to cut it down to YouTube clips, to cut it down to this
Right.
type of clip,
Right.
to reformat it for every type of thing.
Right.
And then if you're using this as a studio, I think the question is, do you want some sort of a governor's live stream every day at a certain time? That's the other thing you're not doing. That like a live stream needs to be something, arguably every day or on a schedule at a certain
oh
time.
no, yeah, that's
Yeah.
we're every weekday but Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Oh, are you? There's
Oh, yeah.
something here every day at 11.
Us.
You guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every day. Yeah. All of our shows
But does
are
Tom,
on at the
does Tom,
same.
do you mean like in there, like the governors? Is that what you're talking about?
I mean,
Aren't here.
again, I don't want to tell you your business because you know what your
No,
numbers
we
are
don't
and
mind that
whatnot.
at all.
But I mean, I'm just spitballing ideas. But I do think here with the cleaning supplies, the magic isn't what it is.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm having a killer time.
Yeah.
But we could easily be doing this in Massapequa. You know?
Yeah, but in fact, I was just talking this past weekend to a comedian, who I'm not going to say his name right now, and he's thinking about doing something. And he actually said, part of the reason I like to come in and do it here is because I got this name
I like
behind
that
it.
too. But yeah, but I think the other thing is, and you get into the whole thing of, this is the thing I'm going through with my podcast and my other work is, people who like Tom Kelly, a lot of them are just people who like that I work at ABC with large TV crowds.
Right.
There's another chunk that likes just Tom Kelly. But where's the market going right now is, if you look at TikTok, you could see how it breaks people down. Like, if you want to really, like, I think my soulmate is the TikTok algorithm, not the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm gives me what I think I want, which is self-help videos, stand-up comedy, and clips from The Sopranos.
Yeah.
The YouTube algorithm knows I like pretty girls. I like
TikTok or YouTube?
TikTok.
Okay, you said YouTube.
Okay, see, and that's the other.
Yeah.
My other problem in fame is I'm having a slow stroke that's lasting 40 years. But the TikTok algorithm now sends me pretty girls, girls jumping on trampolines, and stuff I don't want to show my mother or nephews.
Yeah.
But those people are focused. Like
Right.
decaying property. There's one guy, he never shows his face. All he shows is abandoned property. There's another one that does, and I'm talking about this a lot on my upcoming Sunday episode of my podcast. There's a guy, all he does is treadmill sports, where he'll put little things that roll on a treadmill, and then you guess which one goes to the end of the treadmill.
Oh my goodness.
And it's soothing. There's a lot of, and this was Joey Cola's advice, like right now my podcast has a green screen. I'm showing the background of New York City. And he's like, Tom, there's a million talking heads. I like you when you're doing something,
I agree with Joey, but at the same time, I don't. I personally, because I think the pandemic, and we got to go in a minute, but the pandemic was, awful for a lot of reasons, but in what we're talking about, because then everybody had time and the ability to go into the basement with one GoPro and set up the computer, and like you said, talking heads. And the quality was shit. The content, most of the content was shit. Just a lot of shit. But everybody was was watching it because they had nothing else to do.
Right.
Where now, a year, 2 years later, a lot of people are still doing it. A lot of people think something they do is gonna go viral. They're gonna be rich and famous. They're slowly realizing that's not going to be the case. I personally believe that things like this are going to kind of come back because people, the basement videos, people are going to get tired of it. There's too many talking heads, too many people doing the same thing. People going back to work, they don't have time for it anymore, and this is what sustains.
I'll give you a few random thoughts. You do with these what you will. I think this room is potentially magical. 7 to 9 o'clock Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Put that in your pocket.
No, that's a good...
whether you're hosting it, someone else is hosting it, someone's engineering.
Yeah.
To your point, with every podcast, it's what's your hook. Right now, my hook, and listen, my hook is all over the place and evolving. Again, my podcast was a wedding podcast for the first 6 months. And then the pandemic derailed that. I was doing it with a celebrity wedding planner. We had a gimmick. I had stars on it. Blah, blah, blah. Fizzle.
Yeah.
Then it became a pop culture podcast, but everybody was doing it. Numbers went down worse.
Right.
Then I started doing a solo podcast about me fixing my life. I got COVID-19, and I did the Chris Cuomo in the basement routine, and the numbers shot up.
Really?
God, if I had died, I'd be viral. But the big ending is, then I started doing this, I'm wandering and improving my life thing, and I found my whiny numbers went up a bit. And then at a certain point, no one wants to hear, we're now in 2022, nobody wants to hear anybody whining anymore.
Yep.
We're on the year of getting better. So now I'm looking for what's the next hook. And it's hopefully positive. I'm going somewhere with my life. 2023 is going to be my year of content. Is there a huge market for that, or would we rather see a ghost mall? And that's the internet for me.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let me read some comments, and we're going to get out of here. Fremder says he just took his dog out for a live stream. But
Well, thanks for interrupting our live stream with a live stream.
An entire hour and a half without Fremder.
He also says going live is the best part of the show.
The one-line man.
And listen,
the
there's
one-line man.
And again, I do love the energy of a live of you don't know what might happen.
Right.
And now the trick is, I think the real trick too is chunking. That's the word, chunking.
What does that mean?
That we did this live stream, and then you need someone else to edit this into a 20-minute audio
Yeah, and we've
podcast.
actually been doing that. I've been going back through, and I've been keeping track of the minutes, like little things to
I'm
plop
doing
in.
a video podcast purely for my nephew Nico, who said he only watches podcasts, which who'd have thought? And I find that's now bastardizing because I'm promoting in 3 or 4 places. But I like what he was saying. But the live energy of, someone might make a balloon animal in the hallway and get John Truson to ban Tom Kelly. Boom.
I don't think he's going to ban you over. He'll ban me before he bans you.
No, there you go. I just don't want to be seen next to anybody.
A few people said we weren't reading the comments during the show like we normally do, but
Yeah.
a few people asked that for a balloon of a steak.
that was the callback we needed.
Yep, there you go. And Beansy repeated several times that he had to go into the Bronx
Didn't have
yesterday.
the right
Yeah,
lighting for the
yeah,
glasses.
yeah,
I
yeah.
had.
So, all right. So before we go, I'll start with Derek.
What's up?
Where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Socials, all that stuff.
Sure. You can find me on all the social medias. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. But I don't do any dances, so don't go for that. Under Mr. Pop and Twist, MrPoppinTwist. Next week, I'll be at Cold Spring Harbor Library. I'll post my stuff on Facebook all the time where I'm going to be next. I'm doing library shots, stops all throughout. I'll also be in Patchogue on August 5th for Circus on Main. So I'll be twisting balloons in Patchogue. So, but yeah, I'm a lot of places this summer. Much better than it was been the last 2 summers.
Excellent. Well, we're happy for you, and we're happy that you were here today.
Oh,
pal.
thank you.
Nice to see you.
here.
Nice to see you. And what do you, Tom Kelly Show?
Listen, I'm Tom Kelly Show across the board on social media. The Tom Kelly podcast, Tom Kelly Show podcast is what I care the most about. We release it on Sunday night and Tuesday nights at 10, and then it airs on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all your major podcast platforms on Monday and Wednesday mornings. And for all things Tom Kelly, including my stand-up schedule, TomKellyShow.com. The Tom Kelly balloon, his schedule will be
about 20 minutes.
Getting him home in an air-conditioned car before he pops.
Do you have any stand-up gigs you want to push? You can push them. It's all right.
I am stand-up-wise. I keep sending my avails in here. Get the hint, guys. Tom Kelly would love to be back. But I have I'm headlining at Uncle Vinny's on the Shore in September, and doing the Good Morning America summer concert series every Friday morning.
Nice.
And opening for the cast of Hamilton. Just opened for Espa, which is a K-pop band. Just opened for One Republic, and then I've got so I'm there all summer. Just came back from the Bahamas with The View. And yeah, freelancing, and things have been landing on my lap slowly, and I'm just trying to get back to the energy of appreciating receiving.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
Nice,
well.
Tom.
Well said. Good to see you, pal.
Great to be seen.
Come back again soon. Good to see you as well. Come back
see you,
again
Tony.
soon, guys. All right, what's today? Thursday? Is there anything on tonight?
No.
There's nothing tonight. All right, so and you're not back with me tomorrow.
No.
All right. Me and Andy will be back tomorrow. We got the big harmonica off tomorrow. Looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
right.
We'll see you tomorrow at 11. Thanks, guys.